From Joe Keller Stadium in Reserve, Louisiana, Crescent City Sports is proud to bring you high school football tonight. It's a first-round Division I non-select matchup as the Walker Wildcats meet the East St. John Wildcats. It's a battle of Wildcats. Sitting along Wade Kaiser, I'm Ken Berthelot, filling in for Lenny Van Gilder tonight. And Wade, we've got two teams that would like to extend their seasons, but both are coming off of regular season ending losses that were disappointing losses for both teams.
Well, yeah, both of them are coming off those losses. They want to right the ship, no doubt about it. But the biggest thing they want to do is they want to extend their season, right? So here they are. They're, we've got a number 11 seed, which is East St. John, and Walker is a 22nd seed in the bracket. So they're looking to get to that next round where they'll either face the winner of Airline, which is a 6th seed, or Houghton, which is a 27th seed. But you're right, Kenny, they're both coming off of losses. East St. John actually coming off of 2 straight losses. The big rivalry game with Destrehan, and then last week a non-district game with Holy Cross, which they led for the first part of the game, and Holy Cross came back and beat them in the second half. And so both teams have bad taste in their mouth. They want to get it straight here tonight.
For the homestanding East St. John Wildcats, they had a 9-0 lead on Holy Cross last week, but talking to Coach Brandon Brown, he said, we kind of let Destrehan beat us twice. We started making mistakes. Our head wasn't where it was supposed to be, and it might serve as a catalyst for this team to make sure their head's where it's supposed to be tonight against a very good Walker team.
Well, when you're coming out of a game like the Destrehan game, which was coming in undefeated, and that's a big rivalry here in the River Parishes, it's hard to get your head straight, right? You're coming off that loss, and you're just not as focused, and they weren't focused last week. That's what Brandon Brown said as they were playing a non-district game against a really good football team out of the Catholic League, Holy Cross, and they kind of fumbled the ball away, and Holy Cross got the better of them.
You saw the Walker Wildcats take the field just a moment ago. Here comes the East St. John Wildcats. Boy, Coach Chad Mahaffey said these playoff games mean an awful lot because at Walker, only twice in the history of the school have they won a playoff game, and he is trying to change that. The entire administration is behind him. They want emphasis to be on this football program. They want to be in the playoffs every year and advancing to the quarters, semis, and win the first state championship ever at Walker High.
Well, you got to change culture, right? So I know how that is. When you come in and you're trying to establish a tradition with your football program, in your athletic program, and Walker has a great athletic program, you want to establish that tradition with your football team, and in order to do that, you got to get the culture right, and that's part of Coach Mahaffey's deal. Chad, it comes from tradition-rich University High, where he was real successful all those years at University High, coming over to Walker and trying to get that culture change isn't really easy, but you just got to be persistent, and he's a good football coach, got a great staff, and I'm sure he'll get that culture to where he wants to get it.
Good evening.
Chad Mahaffey has had some tough goes at it, if you want to say it that way, at quarterback. Troy Silva, Hayden Price, Landon Wagasback, and Warren Young have all had an opportunity to play it. Looks like Troy Silva is sort of finding his way as the guy who may settle into that role. And, of course, with Veterans Day tomorrow, or this weekend,
as well.
Right. Well, they lost.
They're honoring the veterans now. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. They lost Hayden Price earlier in the year, and he was their guy, right? He had 92 attempts, 58 completions, and he had 685 yards when he got hurt. And now they've gone to Troy Silva, which is a really good athlete. He's a sophomore, and he comes in with 32 completions on the year with 555 yards, 4 touchdowns. So he's the guy tonight. He's the guy that they're hanging their hat on. He's the guy that's got to get the job done for the Walker Wildcats.
And this is a team that, with their quarterback, Troy Silva, he was a JV wide receiver, moved to quarterback on the freshman team, and then guess what? All of a sudden, he was put in at quarterback to actually spark this team back in the Live Oaks game in Week 8, and all of a sudden he found himself at home, kind of came of age and grew up a little bit in the St. Amant game in Week 9. Had a little bit of trouble last week, as it'll happen to you sometimes, Wade. You know, you fall into that slump after a game or two, had some exchange problems, safety, a couple of safeties. But if he settles down tonight, this Walker team could be a force to be reckoned with.
Well, they've got a lot of athletes spread around the field, and Chad Mahaffey knows how to get them in the right situations and do the right thing, so they're going to just have to make sure they don't put the ball on the ground or have those interceptions like you were talking about.
The officials tonight are from the Thibodeau Association, and they just had the toss of the coin, but you and I were talking. So we will have the playing of our national anthem. A very special time on this Veterans Day weekend, as they also honor some veterans here.
Thank you, everyone. Body head. Lord, we want to thank you for tonight. Thank you for some great weather. We come out here tonight, Lord, to share fellowship football, God. I pray for your protection over all the players, over all the officials, God. Those that are trying to get here, God, get ready for them to get here. And God, when all this is said and done, we'll be careful to give you all the glory and honor. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Our opening prayer followed by...
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please receive Miss Amari Evans.
Two special honors taking place as Miss Amari Evans sings our Star-Spangled Banner.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets reclaim the both bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Beautiful rendition of our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner by Miss Amari Evans. Tonight, Mark Paul will be on camera. Matt Merritt is our producer, and Wade Kaiser, our analyst, and Ken Berthelot here sitting in for the Leinster himself, Leinster Van Gilder, who will be back with you for the second round of the playoffs next Friday night. Got a good one here, and you wonder how... Well, let me ask you, Wade, as a coach. You go through a regular season, kids are used to football on Friday night, but all of a sudden now it's the playoffs. Is there just a little more enthusiasm, emotion, all of that?
Well, yeah,
with
right,
this game?
right, because they understand a couple of things. First, number one, it's one and done, right?
Yes.
You don't want to be one and done, so it becomes emotional. Second thing is those seniors out there understand the one and done, and the rest of the teammates understand that they're playing for the extenuation of the seniors' career, I guess you would say, for many of them, right? Because there's a lot of guys that aren't going to be playing college football after, the season is over. So, yes, it is emotional, and they understand how important it is, and everybody sets their goals at the beginning of the season. They want to get to the playoffs. They want to try to get to the Superdome in order to compete for a state championship, so they understand exactly what's at stake.
Corey Thomas deep as East St. John will kick off to get things started in this game. Elijah Strickland tees it up. And it will come to Ja'Cory Thomas at the 9. Pushes one tackler away from him and brings it out to the 20-yard line. And that's where Walker will start, and we'll get to see this young man, Troy Silv, at quarterback right off the bat.
Well, he comes in with 32 completions on the year, so he's had some reps, right? So it isn't like he is completely, oblivious to the quarterback situation. He's more of an athlete type of guy, so let's look for him running the football also tonight out of a lot of, zone reads and things of that nature.
This is the actually third quarterback being used by Walker, and he'll throw it quickly and completes it right away to Warren Young. And Young's all the way up to the 42-yard line. So you got a gain of 22 on first down for this Walker team that shows they're going to put this spread wide open offense to good use early on.
Well, I was down on the field prior to the game. Warren Young is a nice-looking wide receiver.
Now, they'll do a lot of things where it looks like something's happening and something else happens, and it's C.J. McClendon on the run and a good fake by Silva. After that, they're going fast right now. So right at the 49-yard line, and again, the handoff, they're going to go straight up the middle, and McClendon, a powerful runner with good speed, too, but he's physical. He can push forward, and he moves the chains for a first down to the 45-yard line.
Secret for Walker tonight, they're going to have to control the time of possession. That electrifying East St. John offense is something they want to try to keep off the field.
And this time, Silv lets it fly just a little too much for Dakari Joseph. Or pardon me, for Jamari Evans on the far side.
Intended for Evans, that'll bring up second and 10.
That'll bring up second down and 10. One of the things that Brandon Brown was concerned about was this Walker offense does such a good job of fakes. And you think it's going one way and it's going the other. This time you can see big C.J. McClendon, number 22, push his way forward against the wall, so to speak.
Well, they've got an offensive lineman in the backfield. I guess you would say it's fullback, H-back that time, number 55, Alex Hibbs. Big offensive lineman leading the way on that ISO right up into the middle to pick up nice yardage for McClendon.
At the 42-yard line, third down and 7. Let's see if they can pick it up on third down. This time he's in trouble. Here comes pressure. And he's sacked back at the 49-yard line of the East St. John Wildcats. And that'll stop the drive and force a punt.
Well, that's what you can't have, right? So you got things going in the right direction. You're making nice moves here. You're getting nice yardage there, and then all of a sudden comes the sack. Those are the things that have kind of hindered the Walker Wildcats this year. They get things rolling, and then all of a sudden they have a breakdown in their offense, and their offense is off the field, and they've got their defense on.
Warren Young is the punter. And this one will be downed at the 25-yard line. And East St. John will take over at their own 25-yard line, but the defense did what they had to do, and that is they found a way to get pressure on Troy Silv, the quarterback, and with that sack, stop a drive, force a punt, and East St. John will have it for the first time today. So we get the opportunity now to see Yasha Mitchell.
Yeah, well, not Yasha Mitchell has done a great job all year. 5'10", 180-pound senior, 249 attempts, 120 completions, 2,300 yards. Yes, I said that correctly, 2,300 yards. And he has a bevy of really nice receivers to throw the football to as they come out in an empty formation.
And he'll just throw it out to the right side and let his talented back do the rest. So Yasha Mitchell out to Cortez Fisher.
Cortez Fisher also plays on the defensive side of the ball, but they'll bring him in as a wide receiver running back. Number 1, he's a senior. Look how they get the ball real quickly out into his hands on the wide receiver screen here. They got the numbers out there. They had 3 receivers on 2 defensive backs. Usually 3 beats 2 every time. At least it does in my math.
Got 17 on first down. He's going to try the same thing to a different player. And that one goes to Coyle Gray, who's brought down at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
By Evan King. Evan King gets out there from his linebacker position, comes in with 25 tackles on the season, 2 sacks. He's the outside linebacker for those Walker Wildcats. Pursued well to the ball to knock him out of bounds.
At their own 43, second down, 10. As we said, this young man is an interesting story. He tosses it out to Ashton Williams, and Williams is pushed out of bounds on the left side. Short of the first down. He gets to the 49-yard line. Gain of 6, bringing up third down 4.
All right, well, you know, these little wide receiver screens, they're getting it out on the flank real fast, right? That's nothing but a toss sweep. Just throwing it out there into space, letting the athlete run, and you're trying to get blocking out in front. It's one way of just getting the ball out on the perimeter really fast.
Asha Mitchell, he can run. Look at the quickness as he busts through the line and gets the first down to the 45-yard line. He got a gain of 6. He only needed 4. He moves the chains for a first down.
Quarterback draw all the way. Everything opens up. They're in that open formation, spreads out the defense. You get a hat on a hat up front, and watch Yasha Mitchell take off. Nice tackle by number 27. The defensive lineman, Marek Hall from Walker.
Brings up first and 10.
This time he'll pull one of the slot men and use him as a blocker, and offside on Walker. So the movement drew Walker offside.
Yeah, you break that line of scrimmage in high school football, they're going to blow the play dead immediately, and they're going to move the ball 5 yards and play first down again.
This time at the 41-yard line. Yasha Mitchell, the senior quarterback, looking over at the sideline, and did they call timeout? They may have. Clock was running down. Looks like Yasha Mitchell was having a little problem with the call, so not to get the delay of game, they called timeout.
Well, when you're signaling your plays in from the sideline, right, you got all these and you see it on Friday, you see it on Saturday, and you see it on Sunday, right? Well, not so much on Sunday because of the headsets thing, right? But it's really self-evident on Friday and Saturdays, right? People are giving all these signals. If you get one of those signals wrong, Ken, you're in a bind.
Yeah. Right. And they almost did, so they called timeout.
Right.
Hey, tonight's coverage on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by the Lamarck Motor Company in Kenner. Lamarck Ford, the #1 Ford dealer in the Metro New Orleans market. There must be a reason, says Ronnie Lamarck.
You know what we used to do with those signals, right? We used to sit there, I'll go through, okay, what is we'd spend half a day trying to figure out what's a good signal for this particular play or movement or whatever. He got into, no, let's use this signal.
What a mess. Signal. We just need a play for it, right?
What a mess.
Quick throw over the middle, and he's got his man. No. Wow, what a catch. Well, that was Dekai Joseph.
Yeah, he came in a nice little post route right there against a too-high secondary. Watch him get inside the man coverage right there by the corner with 2 safeties up top, and the ball's put right on the number. Nice pickup, nice first down, nice route by Dekai Joseph.
There's a Dakari Joseph and a Dekai Joseph. Dekai is number 6. Hard enough to see their numbers, but he's good. Here comes a blitz. It's massive. They've got him on the run. He'll throw out of bounds. Just got that one thrown away, but good pressure put on that time by Coach Mahaffey's Wildcats. That's the Walker Wildcats.
Right. Well, look at the blitz coming right there from the two inside linebackers. You saw the Travion Thomas, number 24, and Evan King, number 25, come on the inside blitz right there. And it wasn't really picked up too well. That's going to flush Joshua Mitchell out of the pocket. He kept his eyes downfield, got the ball out of there to be able to come back and play another down.
Bring up 2nd and 10.
Second down, 10. Lots of time. Got time to throw. Incomplete.
Almost picked off by Carson Rocker from his safety position. See, they're giving a little too high with man underneath look right there, and they're mixing it up every now and then with a little zone out of cover 4. Cover 4 is a little bit tighter coverage, and it ends up being man-to-man. But Carson Rocker right there jumps the post route that time, reads it real well, and he should have caught that ball. He might have gone yard if he caught that thing. There was nobody left in front of him.
Third down, 10. They'll go the quick throw to the right side. It's complete, but way short of the first down. And a good stop by Patrick McKenzie of Walker.
Yeah, Patrick McKenzie, 66 tackles, 1 interception. Does a nice job from his outside linebacker position. Watch how he gets off the block right here, gets off, plays it very nicely. You know, thought the receiver right there, Fisher, should have gone inside of that block and maybe cut back against the grain. A little bit more room in there.
Going forward on 4th down. At the 24. Here's the quick toss. Caught at the 15. Let's see where they mark it because he came back. Will it forward progress be at the 15? If it is, that's enough to move the chains for a first down.
That's going to be close. They're going to measure.
So he caught it, but he was leaning forward as you watch it on the replay, and he comes back.
It's going to be where the ball is, I believe.
If they mark it at the 16, that's still enough for the first down. And it is.
And there we go. Hey, look, great route right there. You run the sticks, right? Run the sticks, get the first down. If you got to come back, you go a little bit past it, then you come back to the sticks. You catch it right at the sticks, and that's what happens. You move them. First down, Wildcats from East St. John.
Toss over. Caught inside the 20.
You catch the ball, you got to get moving, right? You don't get out there and dance, all right? You do the two-step later after the game, not during the game, right? So watch. Let's see if you can see it right there. Bam, 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 little dancing right there. Catch that ball, get your foot in the ground, and let's get vertical, please, right?
One of the reasons he may have been dancing is about 4 white shirts closing in on him.
Oh, don't dance. Don't dance.
Well,
They're going to close in on the end.
there you go. Second down. 12.
2nd and 12, 14.
Oh, look at this. Mitchell with a pretty move to the right side. Can he escape? He does and goes out of bounds at about the 6-yard line. Let's see where they mark it. He is so slippery sometimes you just can't bring him down.
Well, that's Yasha. It's all Yasha Mitchell there. Great coverage by the Wildcats. They picked the blitz up right there. You saw the blitz come in the 2A gaps right there. He bounces out and runs over 2 Walker Wildcats right there on his way down about the 5-yard line. But we had a flag, and they're going to bring it back. Probably a hold on the interior lineman. Here's our call. Oh, did they make the call already? Yeah, I think it was a hold. 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
So that moves it back to the 35-yard line. Got to get down to the 7-yard line for a first.
Yeah, it's second in an Uber ride. So you look at that car, what do you call, right? You want to try to pick half of this thing up, so then it's 4-down territory for you, so then you've got the last 2 downs to try to pick up the rest.
Now, they haven't used Mitchell's speed as much as they can. Will they do it here? No, he's going to throw. He's going forward. Oh, he's got a man wide open to the end zone. Drops it right in for the touchdown. My goodness.
Well, what do I know? Get half of it back? No. Let's go for the end zone. Let's take our shot right here. They take their shot. Beautifully thrown ball. Great route. Coyle Gray gets on top of the defender, and there's the ball right there laid out perfectly for him to run under, and it's 6-0 East St. John Wildcats.
Well, Kyle Gray broke away from everybody, and he was so wide open. The point is good. And with 5 minutes and 3 seconds to play here in the first quarter, East St. John has opened up a 7-0 lead. They get the first score of the night on their first possession. 75-yard drive.
Oh, good look at it. He gets on top of the safety. I think the run fake froze the safety's feet, got on top of the corner, ran right past both of them. The ball was perfectly thrown by Yasha Mitchell nicely. Remember, you want to throw it out there so your receiver can run to the ball, right? And that's exactly what happened. Nice execution for first score of the night.
Well, that's as pretty as it comes. And when you see the receiver break away from everybody and he's wide open, and the only pressure is, can the quarterback hit him in stride? And Yasha Mitchell just did. So the East St. John Wildcats in this battle of Wildcats strikes first. Let's see if Walker can answer on their second offensive possession of this game. This one is going deep. It's going to be pulled in by Ja'Cory Thomas. Thomas is up to the 20-yard line, pushed back, and they should mark it at about the 20 or 21-yard line, and they will.
Well, the Walker Wildcats on their first drive moved the ball nicely until they had the sack just at around midfield, right? So they've got to go back to what they do well, right? Sylv can throw the short passes nicely. They've got a nice running back in C.J. McClendon, beautiful receiver in Warren Young. He is really a threat. I said I was looking at him down on the field prior to the game. He is a nice, big, good-looking athlete. He comes in with 633 yards on the season. They got to get the ball in his hands tonight somehow, some way.
First and 10, Walker.
Well, let's see if Sylv can do that right here. He'll run on first down. No gain there as East St. John closed that one up, and you'll see this. Sometimes Ja'Cory Thomas will line up in a Wildcat.
Right, well, that was Wildcat right there with Ja'Cory Thomas.
Yeah, and now you've got Sylv back in, and he throws, but unable to pull it in that time was Warren Young, he doesn't miss too many.
Right, well, I was singing his praises right there, but the first thing you got to do is catch the ball, right? So, Mr. Young's going back to the huddle right now and saying, hey, I'm going to catch the next one. Throw it to me again. He runs a nice out route right there. Beats the linebacker getting underneath it. The ball's delivered nicely. He just doesn't catch it.
Warren Young, 5A All-State, and he's got great hand-eye coordination. You just saw an anomaly with that young man. Sylv rolling. He's got to get rid of it. He throws complete at the 30 and a little shake and bake, and that is going to be close to a first down.
I think that was Warren Young again, right?
He came back and made up for it real quick.
All right, nice route, catches the ball.
Let's see.
Puts a move on a defender.
One. It was right in front of the bench, so let's see if they spotted it. It's going to be very, very close to moving the chains. The official hasn't marked it yet. The chain gang was ready to move the chains, but needed the official's word.
Well, chain gang cannot move it until that side judge tells them to move it, right? So those guys got to hold their horses until the guys with the stripes give them the official. Oh, and we had a penalty. What looks like a
that's what
an interference call.
Do we have a block in the back there?
We had an interference penalty defensively. They're going to move the ball 10 yards from the previous spot, which will move the chains. It's not an automatic first down, but it's going to give them enough yardage to give them that first down.
So now Walker with their own 34-yard line looking at first down. This is going out to Ja'Cory Thomas. Thomas gets a few over on the right side. Doesn't matter whether it's all at once or just a long drive. Long, methodical drive. Walker needs to get down and tie this game up.
Well, out there, Kyvan Fobb, one of the Fobbs on the East St. John team. I think they got about 15 of them. Just kidding. I think they've just got 3. But that's one of them right there. Gets his tail out there and makes a great play from his defensive end position.
Well, that time a lot of mixing and matching, but it goes to Caden Jones, his first touch of the football.
Look, you think I'm joking, right? They got a fob on defense, and they got 2 fobs on the offensive line. I either would suspect that they're all brothers, either that or they're cousins or something. But if they're all brothers, I don't know how they feed those kids at the table.
Well, blitz was on, and on the 3rd and, wow. 10, and that's going to force a punt.
Again, the blitz comes up big for East St. John. It takes Walker out of any type of offensive momentum that they develop. Look at the outside linebacker come untouched off the edge. That's Caden Henderson, senior, with 28 tackles. And you can now add a sack to his statistics, right? Nobody touches him. No blitz pickup protection for the Walker Wildcats, and that forces Walker into another punt.
And again, it's Warren Young, the fine wide receiver, is also the punter. Here comes a big rush, but he gets it off. End over end, that's tough to field. So they're just going to let it roll. It's going to get a great Walker roll inside the 20, and it's going to be down of bounds inside the 15, or right at the 15-yard line.
Right, you hear everybody.
Wow,
right,
my goodness, that punt, 51 yards.
You hear everybody talk about hidden yardage, right? Well, that's hidden yardage. That's the reason why you got to get up there and catch that thing. You can't let the ball hit the ground, right? I talk about it week in, week out, hidden yardage in the kicking game, and there's a perfect example for Walker right there that's going to pin East St. John with their end zone to their back, deep back in the East St. John territory.
My goodness.
The 51-yard punt. He had the ball back at the old 15-yard line, 1st and 10.
Well, I'm glad you're good with math. I was sitting there trying to count yard stripes.
All right, so we go the other way. Still leading 7-0 is East St. John. And they'll throw it on 1st down. That draws a crowd at the 20-yard line, but it's still enough for a 5-yard gain. And sometimes we're a little slow on giving you the receiver or the runner. The numbers are a little bit hard to see, even with the monitor that we have here.
Gray jerseys, black numbers. We don't have the youthful eyes anymore, Ken.
That was Cortez Fisher.
Right.
Catch.
All hitches out there by the wide receivers, right? So they're in empty formation. See all receivers run hitches, catch the ball, try to get vertical right there, make something happen. A lot of white jerseys getting out there on pursuit for the Walker Wildcats.
We've seen Yasha Mitchell use his speed sometimes, but I'll tell you what, I'm looking at the arm, and he's got that pass complete, and that's going to be very forward progress. Should be enough for a 1st down.
Yeah, they're going to give him the 1st down. They run the all hitches again. This time he hits his wide receiver out there. The X receiver out there, he gets the sticks, and it's going to move the chains for East St. John.
Well, I'm not sure. I think that was Dekai Joseph, but we're struggling a little bit with these numbers, especially as it gets a little bit darker. That may have been Joseph on that one. So here's 1st down to the 27-yard line. Oh, and a big hole right up the middle. And that's as pretty as it goes. That is Dekai.
On the carry, he has the 1st and 10.
I think that was Cortez Fisher again running the inside counter. Watch the kick out by the guard here coming right into your picture screen. You can see him from the cop. Nice kick out, trap block right there. Bang. He hits it right up inside of it, and nice pickup moves the chains.
That was Fisher. That was actually George Martin right there on that carry, but I thought it was Fisher too. That's complete. And Dekai Joseph with a big catch and gain, and they're using the speed, they're using the talent that they've got right there in George Martin and Cortez Fisher and Dekai Joseph.
Well, if you miss the tackle like what happened there, okay, you might not have a second chance because of the speed and the breakaway speed after the missed tackle.
Well, flag on the play, and you've only seen it, I believe, twice. Yasha Mitchell used his speed, which you haven't seen a whole lot of. That's a secret weapon that's kind of in the background. He used it 1 or 2 times on that first drive.
We got a illegal procedure penalty on East St. John that's going to back it up 5 yards. They stopped the play, so now you're 1st and 15.
Down to 35 seconds in the first quarter, and this is only the second possession for East St. John. Each team's had it twice in the first quarter. Nice roll to the right and a good throw and catch at about the 33-yard line. And that's Coyle Gray on the catch.
Coyle Gray
get out of bounds, though.
Yeah, gets right out of bounds, stop the clock, but it's,
He was trying. Let's see. They may get this play off. 4, 3, 2, and they might just let it run out, and that's going to be it. They did not get it off in the first quarter. Has come to an end with East St. John leading Walker 7-0, and East St. John driving. We have played one quarter here at Joe Keller Stadium in LaPlace, and it's been everything you'd want this football game to be. Let's see what happens as we start the second quarter in just a moment.
Left.
Well, we're back. We start the second quarter of play. East St. John leading 7-0 over Walker and driving. They're at the Walker 33-yard line. And we've got another whistle. Yasha Mitchell, the quarterback for East St. John, has just put on a show. He's run a little bit. He's got the speed.
All right, you got another procedure penalty. You got a back moving while an offensive lineman was not set and was getting set. You can't have two people moving at the same time in the United States. Maybe in Canada, but not here.
Moves it back to the 38-yard line. That's going to drive Coach Brandon Brown crazy because that's what he felt that even though they got ahead last week against Holy Cross, they ended up losing that game after a 9-0 lead just because of mistakes, turnovers, and the like. And the team got together and said, hey, let's get our heads together and make it happen an entire game. A little bit of trouble. Mitchell scrambling. A lot of white jerseys closing in. He'll just toss it out of bounds and away.
Pressure applied by Evan King again, outside linebacker off of his position up at the top of the screen. Will be coming off the edge on a blitz. Watch, right up at the top of the screen. Here he comes. They also brought the inside linebacker. I believe that was Travion Thomas. They pressure him right out of the pocket. Joshua Mitchell does a nice job just throwing that away.
So it's now 3rd down and 11 at the 38-yard line of Walker. Big down right here because Walker doesn't want to give up the first down or allow East St. John at home to take a 2-touchdown lead. So timeout called on the field, called by East St. John.
Well, you know, the big thing, they're in 4-down territory right here, right? So they're not thinking field goal. They're thinking, how are they going to get the first down? So if they, okay, now, me thinking, I'm looking to get half of it on one down, half of it on the next down, right? Well, Brandon Brown thinking he might throw that thing in the end zone and score 6, right? So, you know, last time I said they're going to look at getting half of it back. What does he do? He goes up top and gets 6. So I'm not going to say a word. I'm going to let Brandon do his thing, right? And he's a great young man. I had the opportunity to coach him when he was in high school at East St. John. I was on the offensive side of the ball. Ronnie Stevens was the head coach, and Brandon was on the defensive side of the ball. And I tell you what, great guy comes from a great family, and he's really done a great job out here at East St. John. You know, here at East St. John, they've had to overcome a lot of things in the past couple of years. The school flooded a couple of years back. They fixed it, and then they had a hurricane come through, and they just got back in June. We'll talk more about that as the night goes on.
Brandon Brown will tell you two people that's meant a lot to him in his life. His dad, who passed away in 2019, and you, Coach Wade Kaiser, who coached him here at East St. John. Meant a lot to him. Here's a good toss over the middle, but overshoots the intended receiver, incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down. 4th and 11.
No, I think he's going to go for it here. I don't think he's going to punt the ball. So he's going to sprint to his left. They brought blitz again, right? All right. I guess one of the things that they think, that time it was Connor Watts coming on the inside blitz through the A-gap. I think one of the things Walker thinks they can get done is if they can flush Yasha from his throwing point, right? They feel like they can have some success. So they're going to try to bring one more than they can block with inside and outside blitzes.
Kai Joseph is at the bottom of your screen, and he is the intended receiver, but got bumped really, really hard.
And that's the Kai Joseph.
Did he get it? He held on to it.
He held on to it.
What a hold on by Dekai Joseph for the first down on a critical 4th and 11 play. My goodness.
He runs a deep curl right at the sticks. Ball's high. He gets whacked, but he holds on that football. Great catch, Dekai Joseph.
Mitchell this time with a quick screen, right side, incomplete, intended there for Cortez Fisher.
Not a good throw there. Yasha would want that one back. He wants to get that ball out there quick into that wide receiver screen like they've been doing all night, and he just kind of threw it out and away from Cortez Fisher.
At the 23-yard line, 2nd down and 10. That was a critical 4th down gamble by Brandon Brown that paid off big time, and he just used two of his most talented players, Joshua Mitchell and Dekai Joseph. Mitchell brings Cortez Fisher right in by him, who he takes the handoff from, and Fisher just fights his way back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down, 10.
It's brought down by 41. Dante Flowers in the heart of that Walker Wildcat defensive front.
That Walker defense has been on the field a long time. This is a long, sustained drive.
Brings up 3rd and 10 for the Mitchell shotgun formation.
3rd down, 10. Mitchell, ball is low on the ground, and he just has to pick it up and
he put his knee down.
Blows quick. Put his knee down as he went to pick it up, and that downed it right there. And probably a good thing, because 1 or 2 more steps, and there's a mad scramble for the Greasy Pig.
Right. Well, you can see it right here. Ball snapped at his feet.
Yep.
He goes down to get it, recovers it, puts his knee on the ground. They're going to kill the play right there. It's going to bring up 4th and long.
Well, here you go, 4th and long. Who does Yasha Mitchell usually count on?
Dekai Joseph.
Dekai Joseph. He is usually at the bottom side of your screen. George Martin is the other. He's normally at the top side as they move to our left.
Walker's using a little inside-outside bracket, right? So they've got 2 high, and they're going to man up on Joseph down at the bottom. It'll be interesting to see. We got a timeout by East St. John. It'll be interesting to see if they come out and play the same coverage on Dekai Joseph.
Tonight's coverage on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by Oxnard Sports Medicine Institute. Get the same sports medicine care the pros receive with minimally invasive treatments and quicker recovery times. Visit oxnard.org/sportsmed to learn more or schedule an appointment near you. I want to take a moment to finish up something you started talking about just a moment ago. Last year, this was a great coaching job by Brandon Brown this year, but that was a great coaching job last year because he held this team together in the midst of Hurricane Ida when that hurricane just about wiped Laplace off the face of the map.
Well, the whole River Parish has almost just got destroyed,
and look,
right?
Other schools did well, too. I mean, so many coaches who had programs in these river parishes and down through Terrebonne and Lafourche still deserve the credit for the coaching jobs they did. 4th down. A long way to go. 4th and 15. He's got some time. He's going to use that same play they scored on the first time. Drops it in. Touchdown. What a catch again. Oh, my goodness. Dekai Joseph on the left side. A 28-yard touchdown pass.
They use the same coverage. They man up on him. They have safety across the top. Watch. Little slant and go, sluggo. Here's the safety across the top. He beats the corner. He beats the safety. The ball's laid out very nicely by Mitchell. Dekai Joseph runs under it and makes an unbelievable catch to put East St. John up 2 scores.
East St. John go for 2. Incomplete. That was intended for Davis.
What do we have here? Flag on the play.
Flag on the play.
This is Thibodeau Association officials.
Well, they went for 2 off the fake, off the PAT, and they had an illegal motion. So obviously it should be declined. The ball was caught for the 2-point conversion. It should be declined by Walker.
East St. John's got a good kicking game. Not quite sure why they went for 2 right there, but they did.
Here's a good look. Oh, here's a good look at the touchdown play. Right, again, little play action pass. Drop that ball down, just kind of holds those safeties' feet for a second, right? Just enough time for Dekai Joseph to run past the corner, get on top of the safety. The bracket coverage didn't work, right? But what a great pass by Yasha Mitchell.
Hey, he had to drop it in the bucket, and he did. Yasha Mitchell has had the 2 scoring passes. Look, he's thrown some zips. He's thrown some ropes. He's done just about everything, but his 2 touchdown passes, he put it right in where he needed to put that football.
Well, he came in with 11 touchdown passes on the evening, so now he's up to 13. Dekai Joseph comes in with 15 touchdown catches. He's up to 17, and the night is still young.
Yes, it is. Whew. Well, this will only be the 3rd possession of this football game for Walker, and East St. John just scored on their 2nd. This one goes up to the right side. That's Thomas again, I believe. And he'll bring it back just past the 25-yard line. Ja'Cory Thomas on the return.
Well, it's vital Walker does something here offensively. They need to burn some clock. They need to move the ball. They got to get their defense a little bit of a blow, right? Man, when you're covering those receivers and the speed of East St. John, you got to get a blow. You got to be able to get your guys rested a little bit and coached up. So it is vital that this offense does something and gets something going. I'm sure Chad Mahaffey and his staff told their offense that as they were on the sideline for that long East St. John drive.
One of the big challenges for Chad Mahaffey was to replace a quarterback this year, C.J. McClendon. It's the reverse, and this Walker team does this well, and they gave it to Ja'Cory Thomas, but East St. John was waiting for it. Brandon Brown said he thought that was one of the keys to the game. He thought Walker does this kind of play, Wade, better than anybody else.
Well, there's your reverse, right? Nice blocking right there. They get blockers out in front, but a very nice job by East St. John defense. They were sitting there waiting for it. They didn't chase the pullers in the opposite direction. They stayed at home to shut down the reverse.
Brandon Brown preached that all week. If you get caught in the trap of going with the trick play, we're going to get beat and they're going to score. But you've got to keep with assignment football.
Well, you got to stay home. You got to read keys. That will be the difference in stopping trick plays. Great job by the interior line of East St. John right there. Kyvan Favre, Elijah Frank stopping the inside zone play right there.
C.J. McClendon there. Here comes a big 3rd down and 11 and a flag on a play.
Well, Kyvan Favre just got caught jumping off sides. Probably used a hard count. Got him moving a little bit. Elijah Frank also moved a little bit, broke that neutral zone.
And if that was by design by Troy Silv, the young sophomore did it well. Remember, he's only been quarterbacking now a couple of weeks for the varsity. He was inserted in the Live Oak game in Week 8. just to give a little lift to the team, and it worked out well. They came down and won it, and he is struggling for the first down. Is his forward progress enough? Let's see. It's going to be very close. He's right at the first down marker. It depends on the spot of the football here.
Looks like he's going to be a little short. You know, this is where young sophomore quarterbacks and guys that get pressed into action after injuries to the starting quarterback really have to play catch up, right? They just hold on to the ball at the wrong time. They only go through one read. They can only see one thing happening at one time. They can't see either half of the field with the routes that are there, and it's just tough. So if that guy's not open, which is your first read, you usually have a tendency to start feeling the pressure from everything coming down around you. And that's what Silv did that time it took off.
Silv got a lot of playing in Week 8 against against Live Oak, and then in St. Amant in Week 9. Sort of felt comfortable. That was followed by Week 10 and the typical errors, and they measure and they get the first down. Big first down right there for Walker, because here on only their third possession of this football game, they've got to keep this drive alive and get some points on the board.
Yeah, buy a little time for that defense, get them a little blow right there. And plus, let's get a little confidence going with our offense, right? That's what we've got to have. We move the chains a few times. We can start pumping our chest a little bit and feeling good about ourselves.
Still, handoff.
At the 36, they're going right to Caden Jones. Jones carries to the 45-yard line. Fumble! East St. John says they have it. What do the officials say? And the officials agree. They point to St. John. Turnover. East St. John recovers.
Well, you can't do that, right? You got things going good. Just got a first down. You pop the inside zone. What happens? Ball pops out. Hold on to the ball, Caden Jones. Sophomore mistake.
Yes, a young man that's got a lot of big play potential, hasn't played a whole lot, and lately in the last part of this season has been coming on strong, and I know that's going to be one that he's going to want to make up for next time they've got the ball. East St. John football, their third possession in this football game. They lead at 13-0.
Oh, my.
A little double. They threw a little trickery of their own. And this one coming out long, caught, touchdown, and a flag on the play. It's going to be pass interference, but I'm sure that'll be declined. And it's Dekai Joseph.
Oh, my.
Well, they took a little play out of the Walker playbook.
East St. John's got a little trick of their own, right? So here's one handoff. Here's two on the reverse. Toss it back. Air it out. Of course, air it out to whom? Dekai Joseph. What a catch. He goes up and catches that and add another one to his statistics. They're talking about it right now. I'm thinking that looks like defensive pass interference.
It did look like that going down. And look, not a bad penalty if he doesn't catch the football, because it's, unlike the NFL, not a spot foul down there, and he's got to step on you. But let's see. It
looks like we got two flags. We got one in the backfield and one downfield. So this could be interesting.
I did not see the one in the backfield.
Yep.
Two flags on the play.
Flag against Walker is declined, and that'll be it.
Okay, I saw the interference. I did not see the first call. So we know one of the flags was for pass interference. The second one was also against Walker. We didn't see what that one was, so both of them declined. Obviously, touchdown East St. John.
At this time, the Wildcats of LaPlace, East St. John, they will try for one.
I'm going to correct you on that. Let's make sure that it's reserve.
Reserve. Saying LaPlace, it is reserve.
It's reserve.
And it is good.
Look, being spending many years living in the LaPlace area, in the reserve area, the good folks from reserve definitely are from reserve, right?
And I should know that because the Berthelot family that I am a part of comes from Westwego. Not Westwego. Many of them ended up in Westwego. Comes from Edgard.
Edgard, they're right across the river.
Right across the river, baby. I should know that. You're absolutely correct.
St. John the Baptist Parish, one of the river parishes up the road from New Orleans. Fine folks live in the river parishes all the way up through Paulina and Lutcher and all that area up, Gramercy, all up in that area, all the way down to Destrehan and St. Rose in that area.
Once again, the Tito to the Walker Wildcats.
The winner of this game gets to meet the winner of the Airline Houghton game. If you're trying to keep up with the brackets this year, good luck.
Well, they're a little bit.
8 pages of them.
They're a little bit more concise, and
Yes.
obviously it's the whole non-select select deal is the thing that gets confusing.
Well, it was a different kind of kickoff, but it got out to Corey Thomas.
And the thing that's confusing, Ken, it's you look up at the select and you see teams that were traditional public schools, correct? That would be normally non-select, but they've been redefined, should we say, by the LHSAA earlier in the year, back in the summer meetings, on what is considered select and non-select, and it has evened out the brackets a little bit. 28 slots in non-select brackets, 24 in select brackets.
First and 10, Phil, shotgun formation.
Oh, Troy Silv with C.J. McClendon. They had something going on the last series until the fumble near midfield gave East St. John the ball back. And this East St. John Wildcat team, who started this season 8-0, won their first 8, then got all caught up, as Coach Brandon Brown said, in all of the hoopla around the big Destrehan rivalry game. Destrehan beat them in that game, and they let that carry over into Holy Cross. Took a 9-0 lead, and then got real sloppy in the Holy Cross game, and Holy Cross made them pay.
First and 15.
And that win for Holy Cross helped Holy Cross get a playoff spot.
Well, the first play started at first and 15 after a legal procedure penalty by the Walker Wildcats. So they were looking at, a big time, deficit. Again, not starting in the right spot to stay on course inside the sticks, right? So now after a play, they get dropped. And now they're at second and an Uber ride again. So this isn't going well for Walker right now. They need to try to find something they can latch onto to try to get these chains moving.
McClendon has just been really kept in check except for one or two big gains in this game. And when he touches the ball like he did last time, they've just had him. They're chasing him from behind, from ahead, and he's brought down as he crosses the 15-yard line. And that's going to bring up a third down and a lot.
He was brought down by Hanson Johnson. The senior defensive back does a nice job blowing up the sweep right here. Watch him. Comes underneath the block. Nice tackle, Hanson Johnson.
So a big third down, 13. Silv will roll, Silv will throw, and it is intercepted at the 25-yard line.
I think they might call that incomplete. It might have skipped off the carpet there.
Yeah, it may have.
Can't get the number of the defensive back that makes the pit. Look at Silv roll out to his left. Oh, my goodness. Looks like it was a catch and a drop. But he's doing his best to come up and argue like an attorney. Did not get the number right there. It's going to bring up fourth down.
Couldn't see it. It may have been Freddie Jones, but I'm not sure. I thought I saw number 7, but I'm not positive. Folks, sorry about that. These black numbers on dark gray uniforms are hard to read at any level. But it does bring up a punting situation. And nice job by Warren Young. Who's got it? Who's got it? Walker says they do. They need the break. Let's see if they did pounce on that football. And they did. Fumbled punt.
Recovered by the Walker Wildcat.
I think that's recovered by number 5, Carson Rocker, senior defensive back, getting down there on coverage. The ball's dropped on contact. Nice high punt right here. Should have used a fair catch.
Yeah,
you got to get that hand up, protect yourself, right? Catch the football, and on your side of the 50, he gets hit immediately. Ball goes out on the ground, muffed punt right there, and it's going to be Walker's back in business here at the East St. John, or the Walker 45-yard line, or 44-yard line.
First and 10 to Walker Wildcats at their own 40.
Well, this is a big break right here for Walker. If they can keep it going, they've got 6:05 to work with. Silv dumps it left to Jones. And he's brought down immediately for a loss.
Nicely read by that East St. John defense. They got out there, got behind the blockers, and blew up the screen real quick. Love the team speed East St. John has, right? They've always had that team speed. Those guys on defense can run. Watch these guys get off of the pass blocks, retrace their steps, come back underneath the blocks, make a nice play.
Silv will keep it himself, but he slipped, tried to plant the right foot and slipped a little bit and goes down at the 40-yard line. So right now, Walker just unable. He even got a break that time. Silv looked like he might have been able to cut for a few extra yards. They lose a bit on the slip. So that brings up third down, 14 from the Walker 40-yard line.
Third 14.
East St. John showing blitz off the top up there. Looks like that's Freddie Jones.
Jamari Evans has been very quiet in this game. He's number 3 down at the bottom of your screen, and he just hasn't gotten anything thrown to him. There's a first down and more. That one tossed out to Warren Young. Hell, that makes up for one of those drops he had, the only drop he had in this game earlier. You knew he wanted to make up for it, and he just did. Now they're going to try to go a little bit fast again. That worked for him on the opening drive. Here's to give to Jones, straight ahead. Caden Jones.
Well, they like this Caden Jones, right? He's a sophomore. You know, he's a young guy. As the season goes along, you have running backs that get banged and bumped up, right? He gets an opportunity in practice. He's showing what he needs to do. Chad Mahaffey says, well, let's give this sophomore a couple of reps, right? And he's kind of stood out the past couple of weeks, and he's going to get more carries tonight.
Now this time you got a Wildcat, and it's Ja'Cory Thomas. But East St. John stops him short of the first down. That'll bring up third down and short yardage.
Well, it's the second time we've seen that package tonight by Walker, right, where they've taken Ja'Cory Thomas, a usual wide receiver, and they move him back there into the Wildcat, and they run some sort of off-tackle power play right there.
From the East St. John 33. Probably 4-down territory. Silv got a lot of time. He's going to tuck it under and run. He's got the first down. He somehow escapes inside the 25. So a little Houdini right there. The escapability of Troy Silv, the sophomore quarterback. First down, Walker.
Again, you know, an inexperienced quarterback. He had Warren Young on the post route. If he would have thrown that football on time, right now, he would have had a nice reception, but he holds on to it. He was just looking at one receiver. He was looking at the rail route going up the boundary by number 12, Austin Workman. It wasn't open, so what does he do? He tucks the ball. He needed to read the post to the rail. He throws the post. They have a big gain.
And you're looking at a sophomore. Here's that Wildcat again with Thomas. Ja'Cory Thomas with a nice cutback. And Thomas pushing. Thomas still pushing. Everybody's pushing him. This is a rugby scrum. Can they get him close?
You know, a lot of times when you're just starting to grab the football, and you're trying to pull that football out, that's what happens. No more. You got to tackle, right? You just don't grab. Kind of like what Vince Lombardi said. Grab. That's all we do. Look at him just grabbing. Tackle the guy, right? Stop trying to rip the ball out. You got to wrap the guy up, bring him to the ground. The second and third guy go there to take the ball out. But you got to get him to the ground first when you tackle him. Great job right there by Ja'Cory Thomas keeping his feet moving.
And this could be real big right here. Power formation in the backfield. There's the give to McClendon. And he's inside the 5-yard line on first and goal.
Bring up second and goal, 4-yard line.
Yeah, that's running now. You're approaching the 2-minute mark. They're going to go quickly. Here's a fake, and McClendon is in the end zone. Touchdown.
No, that's what the doctor ordered right there for
that
Walker.
Was needed right there. You're not kidding. A 7-yard touchdown run by C.J. McClendon gives Walker their first points of this ball game. It's 20-6. Point after coming up.
Well, that comes off over a huge turnover by East St. John on the muff punt, right? Little things. Fair catch the football. Make sure you catch the football first. So what happens? Walker takes advantage of it. Goes 56 yards, I believe, for a touchdown by C.J. McClendon on the inside zone play.
Niall Allen to attempt the point after and run offside there.
Allen set for the extra point try.
They're going to move it half the distance to the goal line.
Get 1 yard closer. Do you go for 2?
No. Kick the 3. Kick the 1. Kick the 1.
Get the 1.
Right.
Absolutely. Get the 1 right now.
But I will say this, all right? This is a little different for a kicker, right? You say, well, how? He's still right in the middle of the field, looking right up at the uprights. Believe it or not, kickers look at those sort of things on their yardage, right?
Jamarian Zeno is the holder. And this one booted up. And good. So it's 20-7. And if you're a Tulane fan wondering if Jamarian Zeno is related to Mark Zeno, we asked Coach about it, but he did not think there was any relation there.
Well, that was just what the doctor ordered, as we said, for Walker. They take the ball off the turnover. They move, half the length of the field, get it into the end zone. That was big. Also bought some time and bought some breathing room for that Walker defense.
And, we go back to that touchdown play. We talked a lot about how Troy Silva, that close, was able to hand off. And then again, he holds those backs. He freezes those backs for just a moment because it looks like he's throwing that football. And he's got a good motion on that. And that was enough that they couldn't clog that hole. East St. John couldn't clog the hole, and that allows, I think, McClendon to go through.
Every little bit helps.
I agree. You better believe it.
Well, we got ourselves a ball game again. 2-score game right here. Stop, 2 minutes. Walker still has all 3 of their timeouts, so they've got to have great coverage and get a stop here on East St. John.
Niall Allen also handles kickoffs. Beautiful moon out in the east, looking back over the east. Hope we can show that to you at halftime.
Isn't that what they call a harvest moon there, Kim?
October and November of the harvest moon.
And here all you people thought that I just knew football, right?
And they're harvesting the sugar cane as we speak. Well, not as we speak here.
It's called grinding, Kenny. Grinding.
Yes. Uh-oh. Here comes the return. And this is Brown.
And there's East St. John grinding on a kickoff return, right? Great yardage right there. You needed to have great coverage by Walker to get something going with minute 57 seconds left. What happens? East St. John grinds it all the way out to almost midfield, just past midfield.
And I believe this is Dwayne Brown. And look at the moves. He's picking and choosing.
Great blocking by East St. John.
I take that back. That was, I think that was Kai Joseph.
So you know what this does? This brings the end zone into Yasha Mitchell's arm range, right?
Yeah, it really does, at his own 46-yard line. And he's got 157 to play with. And he throws those darts just like that. The Cortez Fisher, I believe, on this play.
Walker doing a nice job bottling it up right there. They've really caught up quickly to those wide receiver screens out there. Getting a lot of white jerseys off of blocks, running, in pursuit to the ball and getting there and getting a lot of people around it to make the tackle.
That was Fisher. Got back to the line of scrimmage, second down. Going to throw it up high because a big rush was coming on that time and being put on by, I believe, Kentrell Scott.
Well, Kentrell Scott coming off of his defensive linebacker position, outside linebacker position, but they also brought the inside linebacker, Evan King, on a blitz again.
Third down here. 2 good downs right here by Walker, and maybe a good use of what they have remaining in timeouts. And they could get this ball back and possibly put some more points on the board. East St. John knows it. Let's see. Flags on the play. That'll be procedure and make 3rd and 11. Now 3rd and 16.
Well, Procedure. Brandon Brown said last week against Holy Cross they had a lot of flags on the ground. It was real sloppy. Something he needed to clean up, but so far they haven't cleaned it up yet, right?
Well, they had early, and this is what I think frustrated him last week. They did early against Holy Cross, took the 9-0 lead, and then it got sloppy. He doesn't want to see it get sloppy when his Wildcats have a lead. Battle of the Wildcats. Both teams have the Wildcat as their mascot. So it's 3rd down, 16. Little play action, big rush, and they got him back there. Wow, a big rush put on that time by Merrick Hall.
Merrick Hall just beat the tackle in position on the inside right there. Look at it. A little twist action right there. He comes hard down through the B gap, and they twist 97 Charles Levy out around to the C gap, and the tackle was just standing still. Offensive lineman just, you got to move your feet, right? And they didn't move their feet that time. And
Chad Mahaffey will tell you he's a playmaker, and he just made a play at a time when the Walker Wildcats needed one big time with 1:06 to play before halftime, trailing 20-7.
They just took one of their timeouts, which they needed to do, which is going to force a punt by East St. John here. Walker's back in business. If they can get in the end zone and get it to a one-score game, they'll walk in with a lot of momentum to that locker room.
And momentum is so key right now. This team went 6-4. They've had some injuries like everybody else, of course, who's playing football at this stage of the game. But they've had to change some people at quarterback. And Silv has really stepped up. And, Mitchell has stepped up for them and done a fine job. And he may have an opportunity to show a little bit of his skills. Let's see, we have another flag on the play. Cecilian Green is the punter.
And you got illegal participation. Too many people on the field for East St. John.
Wow. So 4th and 30.
Hidden yardage, right? Hidden yardage. These are things that are giving one or the other
you punt
an
from
advantage.
your 9-yard line instead of your 39-yard line. And, boy, that was a dangerous grab, but it was taken and very, very carefully by Kedrick Brown.
Kedrick Brown caught that right at his fingertips and his shoelaces, right? Wow, my goodness, that had 100 different ways to go wrong. Watch this, folks at home. Don't do this, right? So, that's why you have a thing called a fair catch. Catch the ball and secure the thing first, please.
I have heard you scream and yell right here at the broadcast booth table.
Me scream and yell? Me? Me?
Especially on punts.
Scream and yell.
That's right. You're right. I was so mistaken. I may have watched you too much. All right, from the East St. John 34. Oh, look at this. He's got a man down there. Good coverage. Real good coverage. And a flag goes down.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that ball.
Well, they hit the rail. They hit the number 2 receiver coming up the boundary. Go ahead, Kenny.
It was just intended for Austin Workman. Go ahead.
Right, Austin Workman was running a rail down the boundary. He was covered real well by the East St. John corner right here. See it? Our outside linebacker running step for step. Let's see what we got. Oh, my goodness, I don't see anything. Ay. If I'm Brandon Brown, I'm kind of losing my religion right there, right? I mean, I don't see it. That's a flag that I don't think you throw right there.
Well, they're at the 19-yard line, 1st down, working against the clock. And he's tackled hard. Troy Silv tackled hard. They may have to call another timeout, and they will.
They do. You can't take a sack down here with 47 seconds left. You got to use your timeout. Again, a sophomore mistake.
Quarterback.
Right.
You've got sophomore quarterbacks for both teams.
If he hits his running back coming out of the backfield, you'll see him coming to the flat up here up at the top. Or excuse me, that should have been Ja'Cory Thomas, his wide receiver, slot wide receiver up there at the top. He throws that ball. Now he's got himself a nice little pickup and possibly a touchdown. Didn't even see him. Holds on to the ball, takes the sack. Can't take a sack in that situation.
We'll, at halftime, take a look at some scores. Next week on Crescent City Sports, we'll have a second week matchup as the road to the Dome continues. Visit CrescentCitySports.com for updates. That's more playoff football next week on Crescent City Sports. Lenny Van Gilder will be back, sitting alongside Wade Kaiser to bring you all of the action next week. Enjoying the opportunity to fill in for Lenny tonight and watch this good football game. Here we go. Second down, 12.
He's St. John showing blitz right there.
At the 22, they see it. Still 9 seconds to get this off. They get the snap off. He's going for it all right there into the end zone. It is. Does he have it? Does he hold it?
It's intercepted.
Intercepted.
Intercepted. It looked like Dakari Joseph back there maybe made that play. Trying to get a number off the jerseys here. See if we can see it. Ball's a little bit underthrown. Safety comes across the top. Makes a great play for the interception. That it was either Manuel or Dakari Joseph coming from his safety position across the top. High pointing that ball up at the top. Doing a great job coming from free safety to make that pick.
Wow.
That's the way you play free safety, folks, right there. Great job.
And with 42 seconds to go, East St. John will just kneel it and take a 20-7 lead into the halftime locker room. They're going to have to snap it. Well, they set that play clock back, so they should not have to snap it again. And we'll go into the halftime locker room with East St. John leading. Walker, 20-7 at halftime. Walker had a golden opportunity to get another one on the board, but a fine play and the interception. We'll get the number of that interception for you. We said, bear with us, folks, on the East St. John numbers. They're black numbers on dark gray jerseys, so sometimes we have a little trouble seeing them. But they did get the interception. That halts the Walker drive, and the score at halftime is East St. John 20 and Walker 7. We'll take a break and be back with our halftime show right after this. Matt, whenever you're ready. All right, folks, we're back. here at East St. John Joe Keller Stadium in Reserve, Louisiana. Thank you, Wade Kaiser, for correcting me on that. Ken Berthelot sitting in for Lenny Van Gilder alongside Wade Kaiser. Matt Merritt is our producer, and Mark Paul, our photographer tonight. And it's been a pretty impressive show put on by the East St. John Wildcats. They have managed to stifle, I think, a lot of the offense by Walker, and they have shown how explosive they can be. Your thoughts before we talk about the scoring plays on the first half, Wade Kaiser?
Well, East St. John is electrifying, right? They have speed everywhere all over the field, and they show it, right? And what I'm impressed is with the team speed defensively that East St. John has. This is the first time I've seen them live all year. And Brandon Brown, a defensive-minded guy, knows how to get his players to the ball, correct? And they can get to the ball. Walker's got to find some handle, something that they can find success with to try to be able to, consistently move those sticks and keep their defense off the field against this fast-paced East St. John offense.
Walker took the opening kickoff in this game, and they were using a speed-up offense, and they've just marched right down the field until a big sack, and that sack just took them out of any possibility of making a first down. They had to punt it away, and a long sustained drive by East St. John saw East St. John quarterback Yasha Mitchell just drop one, a beauty, out to Coyle Gray. I think that was about a 38-yard TD on that one. And then after another blitz and another sack by Walker, we saw again, the same thing. Yasha Mitchell takes him down on a 70, 85-yard drive and drops a 28-yard TD pass right into the hands of Johnson. And it's just been a thing to watch of beauty. I said Johnson, I'm sorry, Dekai Joseph. And those first two scoring plays, and to see Yasha Mitchell operate that way as a quarterback is something very, very special.
Well, yeah, absolutely, and he's extremely talented. He comes in, having thrown over 2,300 yards already, and he's going to apply a lot more yardage to that number tonight, and as well as the touchdown numbers. But it again starts with their athletic talent, their speed, and especially the speed of their receivers being able to get vertical on Walker's secondary. And when we say speed and vertical, we're talking about Dekai Joseph.
Yeah, it was 13-0 at that point, and then a fumble by Walker, with again driving, and they fumbled the ball after a completed pass. East St. John recovered it, and when they did, they drove 46 yards and did a little bit of what Walker does so well, a little reverse TD pass to, once again, Dekai Joseph, and it was 20-0. After that, it was just a matter of a fumbled punt, and Walker got a break and had an opportunity to do something special, and they did drive it down, 7-yard run by C.J. McClendon, and got them on the board, making the score 20-7 East St. John. And Walker had one more chance, one more opportunity. The defense held, and they drove it down, and close to the goal, they threw one into the end zone, but it was intercepted, and we do have the person who got it. It was Jahai Jones, his second interception of the year.
Right, did a great job coming across the top, making a great play from his free safety position, high pointing the ball, coming down and ending any hopes in the first half of Walker putting some more points on the board.
And that's where we stand at halftime, 20-7. So right now, let's just take a look at some of the scores from around the state. And we want to remind you that the most complete scoreboard anywhere can be found at CrescentCitySports.com. Now, you're at CrescentCitySports.com watching us. Open up, while you're listening, open up that second window right now on your computer and tab, and go to the scoreboard and take a look at all of the scores. It's always, as usual, presented by the All-State Sugar Bowl, the most complete scoreboard in Louisiana.
Like you said, the complete scoreboard. Let's start off with some 5A scores. Kenny, here we go. At halftime, most of these scores are either at the end of the second quarter or halftime. At halftime, Archbishop Rummel up on John Ehret. Oh, it just changed. I'm sorry. John Ehret has just gone up on Archbishop Rummel, 16-14. Scotlandville up on East Jefferson, 14-0 at halftime. Alexandria up on 14-0 on McKinley in the second quarter. Jesuit travels to Shreveport, up 38-3 on Huntington. I tell you what, Jesuit I think is hitting their stride as they're coming out of that the second half of the season, and I think they might be playing their best football as they're going into the playoffs, which is what you want to do. Brother Martin up 21-20 and the second quarter on Woodlawn of Baton Rouge. Those Holy Cross Tigers, Kenny, up 7-0 on St. Paul's in the second quarter after that big win last week over East St. John. They are now up 7-0 on St. Paul. Halftime, Acadiana, Roland, they know how to hit their stride at playoff time, up 56-0 over Riverdale. Delayed, must be because of rain. Tioga and Shreveport. Halftime, East Ascension up 20-0 on West Ouachita. Second quarter, Slidell up 35-14 on Hammond. That's a repeat from the North Shore District getting a chance to play again in the first round of the playoffs. In the second quarter, Houghton up 20-13 on Airline. That's the game that the winner that we have here tonight, Walker East St. John, will face next week in the second round. Houghton is up 20-13 at the second quarter, going right into halftime. Halftime, Dutchtown up 28-0 on Parkway. Halftime, Salmon up 7-0 on North Shore. Second quarter, West Monroe up 28-6 on Chalmette. Second quarter, Zachary up 35-0 on St. Amant. Halftime, Benton up 28-0 on Ponchatoula. Halftime, Denham Springs up 15-6 on Covington. And in the second quarter, right here in the River Parishes, Hawnville up 14-7 on Ouachita Parish.
Go back to that Houghton score for just a moment. Now, let's take both of these teams. If East St. John would win tonight, or if Walker would win tonight, who gets the home game, who has to travel, depending on who wins, and if Houghton, who is now leading, holds on to their lead.
Okay, well, not having the bracket right in front of me, not knowing who the home team is up there.
I have a bracket. Let me find it.
That's playing. I believe the home team, if I'm not mistaken, is Airline because they're the 6th seed up in Shreveport, right? Okay, so let's just say East St. John, which is the 11th seed, and Airline wins, which is the 6th seed. Then the highest seed will get the home game, which would be Airline. Okay, so you flip it around. If Houghton wins up in North Louisiana tonight, the 27th seed, and East St. John wins tonight, the highest seed will get that playoff game, right? So that's how it looks right there. Exactly. So the home team up there is the 6th seed Airline. So if East St. John wins and Airline wins tonight, Airline will get that home game because they are the highest seed. So
it doesn't matter what happens here. If Airline wins, you go to Airline. But if Houghton wins, then
Houghton win, they're
traveling. They're either going to Walker or East St. John.
Correct.
So that's the easy way to remember it, folks. If
there you go.
Airline wins, doesn't matter who wins this game. The winner of this game is traveling. But if Houghton would come back and hold off and beat and upset Airline, a 27 seed beating a 6 seed, then no matter who wins this game, whether it's Walker or East St. John, they would then get the home game next week.
Let's go through a few 4A scores here. St. Martinville up 28-7. Oh, that's a final they played last night. Second quarter, Booker T. Washington New Orleans up 2-0 on George Washington Carver. Second quarter, McDonough 35 up 12-6 on Peabody. A final due to a disqualification with Landry having a couple of players that were ineligible this season, had to forfeit their game to Vanderbilt Catholic down in Houma. First quarter, Evangel Christian up 14-0 on Estruma. Halftime, Archbishop Hannon up 27-7 on Kenner Discovery. Halftime, St. Louis Catholic up 7-0 on North Side. Second quarter, St. Michael's up 23-18 on Helen Cox. Third quarter, Eunice up 16-13 on Erath. Second quarter, North Vermilion 13-7 over Franklin Parish. Halftime, Church Point up 24-14 on Rain. Second quarter, Lutcher up 21-12 on Wassman. That's a River Parish game right there. Third quarter, Lakeshore, who we had last week here on Crescent City Sports, is up 20-0 on Albany. Another team that they saw earlier this year. Halftime, Cecilia up Franklinton up 21-20. We saw Franklinton last week against Lakeshore in a game up in Franklinton. Second quarter, Brobridge up 14-3 on Carroll. Second quarter, 21-12, Jennings up on Plaquemine. First quarter, Leesville up 14-70 on Pearl River. Halftime, 14-14, all knotted up, Abbeville and Bruley. Second quarter, Alexandria up 14-0 on McKinley. And those are some of your 4A scores around the state here tonight. Again, go to Crescent City Sports for the most complete scoreboard on the web that you can look at tonight to stay up with your team.
That's a pretty doggone good look at the scores by Wade Kaiser right here on the Crescent City Scoreboard Show at halftime. Brought to you, as always, by the All-State Sugar Bowl. And for the best scoreboard anywhere, CrescentCitySports.com, and you can see everything Wade just told you about and watch the updates as they happen.
I know a lot of people out there have pulled their brackets down off the LHSAA website. They've got their brackets all filled out. You know, it's kind of like what they do with the March Madness, right? You fill them all out and, put little dollars on a few things here or there and see how it works out, right?
I heard you dug deep in your pockets and you got in that $2.50 pool. I was really proud of you this time.
Being retired and getting to work with you, my pockets are very slim, Kenny. Very slim, right? There you go.
Short arms, deep pockets.
Short arms, deep pockets. There you go. Let's go through a few 3A scores real fast.
You bet.
St. Martin.
Brought to you by the All-State Sugar Bowl.
All right, there we go. 3A scores right here. Here we go. It's a final from last night. Sophie B. Wright on 28-21 winner over Dearborn Woods Charter. A final from last night. Sterlington 37-0 over Baker. Halftime, it's Ascension Episcopal up on Patrick Taylor, 31-0. Second quarter, Parkview Baptist up 10-0 on Menard. First quarter, Lake Charles College Prep up 14-0 on Catholic New Iberia. Halftime, Berwick up 19-6 on Jules Sumner. Tomorrow, Gina Mansville for a Saturday kickoff. Boy, if I were those guys, I'd be playing tonight with the rain and the cold coming in tomorrow, right? Third quarter, Amite 42-0 on Rayville. Second quarter, 8-0 Winfield up on Mamou. Second quarter, 14-11 Port Allen over Patterson. Halftime, 19-10 Westlake over Pine. First quarter, 0-0 Richwood over Colwood Parish. Halftime, St. Louis Catholic 7-0 over Northside. Third quarter, I think I've already said this one, Eunice 16-13 over Erath. There you go. Boy, I tell you what, I don't know how those guys back in the studio do this so fast. I'm out of breath going through all these scores, man. I tell you what.
You didn't talk this much on a sideline.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
I was trying to give you an out.
Thank you very much. I thought you were going to say I didn't use any adjectives, right? All right, here we go. Let's a couple 2A scores. Thomas Jefferson is losing to ML King Charter 47-0. That's a final from last night. And Elton down by 12 to East Feliciana 12-0. Halftime, Jonesboro Hodge behind Logansport 22-6. 14-14, Delcom over White Castle in the second quarter. Acadia up 26-0 on Lake Arthur in the third quarter. Grand Lake up 24-14 on LaSalle. 0-0 delayed Oakdale Franklinton because of weather. Oak Grove up 44-0 on Centerville. 30-0 Welsh in the second quarter over Varnado. General Trask 0, East Beauregard 0. That's going to be tomorrow. So we don't have a score yet, obviously. There you go. All right, there's some of your 2A scores. Wow, my head's spinning. Talking so fast.
Hey, man, the scoreboard's brought to you with Crescent City Sports Scoreboard, CrescentCitySports.com scoreboard, brought to you by the All-State Sugar Bowl, as always. And, again, I was checking the length of that first touchdown, which was, as we thought, a 38-yard touchdown pass. So, Yasha Mitchell has dropped two beauties to start the game of 38 yards and 28 yards to two different receivers. One was Kyle Gray. The other one was Dekai Joseph. That made it 13-0 at that point. And after a fumble by Walker, beautiful 46-yard reverse touchdown pass to Joseph again by Yasha Mitchell. That was his third TD toss. Made it 20-0. And then in the second quarter late, Walker came back after a fumbled punt by East St. John, and McClendon pushed it across from 7 yards out to make it 20-7. And they had another chance after that, but they threw an interception in the end zone to Jahai. Walker did to Jahai Jones. They had double coverage, and Jahai Jones got it, and that stopped the Walker drive. So we're set to go with the second half. Right now, Houghton is leading Airline, as we said, and if that holds, Houghton travels to the winner of this game. Anybody's game? Let's see what happens. If you're just joining us, East St. John is wearing the gray uniforms with black numbers, dark gray uniforms, black numbers. A little hard to see, but we're doing the best to keep on it for you, folks. And the second half is underway. Dwayne Brown with it from the far side. Escapes 1, 2, 3. Look at Dwayne Brown go. He does his little Houdini act, and it looked like they would have him back at about the 35-yard line, and he returns that all the way inside the 40.
Good look at it again. Watch the blocking right here by the guys in the gray jerseys, getting a body on a body, and he's going to pop it right through there. Also look at the poor tackling by the guys in white from Walker, right? But he gets down here. He's going to enact his will, but I think it's coming back. Did I see a flag?
Flag's going to bring it back, and that's really too bad, because that's going to wipe out about almost a 40-yard return.
Well, it's a holding penalty. And look, in the kicking game today, especially when you get these big returns, it's hard to have everything clean, right? You can always find something wrong. A push in the back, a hold here. You know, something's always going to usually, by the odds, going to bring back the kick or punt return, right? In this case, it's going to be a hold on East St. John. It's going to bring them back to about their 12-yard line.
So from the 12 on first down,
Mitchell.
well, you're seeing Yasha Mitchell work magic at the quarterback slot. This is a quarterback keeper all the way, right up the middle. Big hole, and Mitchell is out to the 27-yard line and has a first down.
There's your quarterback draw. We saw that back in the first quarter by Yasha Mitchell, right? We then have not seen it until right here. And look at the hole open up. Yeah, everybody runs out. You got the guys from Walker right there. It looked like 27 was out of his gap. Either that or they were about to bring the end and wrap him back under. He never got there. Left a huge void, huge hole for Yasha Mitchell just to get up inside and make a nice gain and move those sticks.
Mitchell again on first down. Dropped the ball. Now he's got to run back for it. Here comes pressure. Mitchell trying to escape. And he's got three white jerseys catching him, and he outruns him around the right side and gets all the way past the 30.
Oh, that's athletic talent. Just ran away from Connor Watts, who blitzed through the B gap right there and got right there and said hello, but just couldn't bring him down. Watch number 37, Connor Watts, coming from his linebacker position, couldn't get to him. Look at the athletic talent of Yasha Mitchell, just getting on that edge and running away from the guys in the white jerseys.
Turned what could have been about a 15-yard loss into about a 6-yard gain up to the 31-yard line, and that's just escapability, speed, and athleticism. Going to do it again.
Mitchell on the keeper.
And he escapes one player. He's got the first down and is across the 40 and right up to the 45-yard line for a gain of 14. And he's picking them up in big chunks right now, Wade Kaiser.
Well, when you're running out of your lanes up front as a defensive line, it's going to open up these huge holes. Look at this hole right there. All you had to do was turn it out. He runs right back up through the center A gap right there, and he's got a nice gain. Chains move again.
We talked a little bit in the first half about we hadn't seen that. We hadn't seen East St. John use Yasha Mitchell much in that way, and they have come out on this first series, and that's the game plan. Yasha Mitchell run or throw. And he'll do that right here and overthrows his intended receiver, which was Coyle Gray.
Yeah, a little sail over his head right there. He threw that kind of over-rotated that to make the ball sail, and Coyle Gray just didn't have a shot at how high that was. Kind of hung him out to dry. If he'd have gone up to try to really catch that up in the air that high, he would have gotten his ribs taken out by the free safety that was there, Carson Rocker.
2nd and 10 from the 45-yard line of East St. John. Walker showing some blitz. They call it off, pull it back. And here he comes from the other side anyway, from the top side. And there's a throw, and he did not get it. Close for Dekai Joseph.
Look, guys weren't on the same page there for East St. John. You had Cortez Fisher looking over with his hands out at his side, still trying to get a call. Ball snapped. Receivers are standing still. Something went wrong with the communications from the boundary coming in to Yasha Mitchell, and everything just wasn't copacetic there, right? So, they've got to get their calls in right and make sure everybody's on the same page so their communications are right. So Yasha Mitchell gets flushed out of there and just has to throw that away.
Let's see if they called a timeout here. We have one of the coaches. Well, the officials are discussing something. Well, that's giving both teams a chance to talk to their coaches.
They're looking for a pool boy after the game. I'm serious. Those guys got to go drive back to Thibodaux. They're going to be hungry, so they're going to discuss where they're going to eat after the game. That is important business.
Well,
do you note my sarcasm?
I did note your sarcasm. And I think somewhere you have probably on the sideline made that statement to officials.
Well, yeah, I walked out there and told them where to go. Guys, can we play, please?
Where to go to get a po' boy?
No, where to go after dinner to get something after the game to get something to eat. Can we move on? It's kind of like in Major League Baseball. That guy walks out from behind home plate and says, "Can we move? Can we go?" Right? I mean, come on.
I did want to clarify that and say, tell them where to go to get the po' boy.
Get the po' boy, right. There you go. I'd go to my Bills right down the road here in Laplace.
3rd down 10. At the 45 of East St. John, and it's bobbled and caught with a man all over him, and that's a good catch by Cortez Fisher.
Cortez Fisher catches that with heavy heat coming down on him.
Short of the sticks, though.
By Walker Wildcats right there to keep it at 2nd and 5.
Yeah, it's now going to be 4th down and 5, and they are going to run the punt team out there real quick.
I said 2nd and 5. It's 4th and 5.
If this is a fake, they do have somebody down toward the bottom of the screen with absolutely no coverage. But quickly, that was seen by Jaden Bordalis, and he shifted over to cover what could have been an open receiver on 4th and 5.
Well, they called timeout because they had the wide receiver open, the extended wide receiver on the punt team that was wide open down there right at about the 50-yard line, right? So they called timeout. Bordalis was trying to get out there to cover him. That's kind of a blown assignment for your punt return team. They train those punters to look up and look out and see if their wideouts are covered. They're gunners. That's what they're called in the punt team. If that gunner isn't covered, you pick up, you throw the ball out there real quick. You got to have somebody out there to defend them because they're an eligible receiver.
Yeah. And in 4th and 5, that would have been a quick first down. But now, let's credit Jaden Bordalis. He saw it, maybe got a little help from the sideline, who knows, but he shifted over to check the gunner.
Look, what's bad about that, it cost you a timeout, right?
Yes.
A needless timeout. And you address that with your kids, that you never know when you're going to need that timeout, right? So let's do what we're taught. Get out there and cover those gunners.
So Walker
45
does use one of their 3 timeouts in the second half on that play. Elian, the punt. The short punt, fair catch called this time, because that's what you like to see.
Well,
made.
No, I love to see punt returns, but when you've got a guy in your face with a different color jersey, put your hand up.
Well, Kedrick Brown did the right thing.
And did the right thing. Good coaching right there. You get your hand up, you catch the ball, and let's get our offense on the field. Right? That gives you cushion to catch that football. That guy's right down on you, and you just don't want to muff that thing, right, and turn it over. Look, it is not easy catching punts, all right, with people bearing down on you.
Oh, this time big hole up the middle.
That was Young on the keeper.
And that was Warren Young on a keeper. Warren Young will sometimes line up in the Wildcat and take the play himself. He spins around, fakes the handoff, and that's as pretty as it gets.
Shades of Catholic High and Dale Werner there. Spin series, right? He fakes one way, fakes the other way, and then he takes it back up into the line of scrimmage, right?
14-yard gain, first down.
Okay, all right.
And they might see a little trickery coming here from time to time.
Hey, you can buy that book. Dale Weiner wrote the book on spin offense, right? That's what they're running. They're running spin offense right there. They're going to fake a halfback coming. They're going to fake a wide receiver coming around. Then the quarterback can either hand the ball off or run the ball. 1 fake, 2 fake. Give it to the second one right there, in and through and up.
Second and 4.
What do you do as a defense? Read your keys up front. The offensive linemen are going to take you to the football.
And what about Warren Young? And what about here? Young again on a keeper. He's playing quarterback. He's moved into the quarterback slot. Young on a keeper as he does that spin you just talked about, straight up the middle. He's got a first down, and this is working. Hey, a couple of games ago when the offense was sluggish, Chad Mahaffey put Troy Silv in, and it started to click. Right now the offense was just a little bit sluggish. He'll go with Warren Young at quarterback, and he's been at that position before. He's a senior. He's had some play at quarterback. He's not a surprise. It's not a surprise move. And if he can keep this offense moving, look out. This time a handoff to McClendon, and he'll go straight ahead.
Basically, it's counter offense. It's kind of wing tee mixed in with counter offenses. You can trap off of it. You can pull guards and get counters. You can zone block it right there. They run trap. You can see one puller coming with the second puller. They trap. They seal. You got to keep your eyes on the linemen. The linemen are going to take you to the ball. You start looking in the backfield with them backs all spinning around back there, it's going to be like you've been asleep for 2 years, right? You wake up dizzy.
Now this time another big hole up the middle on all that reverse, and pushing forward, Ja'Cory Thomas. He's got the first down by a mile and more to go, all the way down to the 24-yard line.
This time they run the spin counter to the right. They get good blocking with a kick out from the guard. Take a look at it. Here comes the kick out. Here comes the seal. There goes the counter right up inside. You got to watch the linebackers. Linebackers looking in the backfield. They're going to be running all different directions. They might even run into each other.
Warren Young at quarterback. And it's working on this drive with good spin moves. And that time, East St. John shut it down, but not until he got a few. And the he is Caden Jones going up the middle. A little pushing, but no flags as both players pulled off quickly away from the football.
Great tackle, Jerry Phillips right there. Sophomore comes in with 41 tackles and 5 sacks. 6 foot, 190-pound defensive lineman from East St. John makes that play.
Second down 10 after no gain. Seeing a little spark here in the Walker offense, the Walker Wildcat offense with Young at quarterback. He's going to keep again. Left side, he's got some running room. If he can step outside, he does, breaking one tackle and the second as he dives toward the 20-yard line.
Dwayne Brown had a shot at him coming up from his cornerback position, and Warren Young just stepped right through his arms. Take a look at it. Here's the one fake. Here's the second fake, and here goes Warren Young off the edge. There's the first missed tackle. There's the second missed tackle. He's athletic enough. He's going to make you miss, right? He's big. He's strong. You got to put your pads on this guy to bring him down.
Two-sport player, basketball, football, three-way player for football. You see him at quarterback now, plays wide receiver. He's also the kicker. He'd probably play on defense, but they got to rest him sometimes.
And I bet he probably also makes the hot dogs at halftime. He does it all.
All right, this time the handoff doesn't get much from C.J. McClendon. McClendon's got good speed. They've just got to give him a hole and let him use it. 4.55 speed by C.J. McClendon. If they can open up a hole and give him just a little bit of space, he could be gone.
Fourth down, they got to go for this. They don't really have much choice.
This is 4-down territory. You need the score, not the field goal, and it would be a pretty long field goal.
They get out of their
quarterback is your kicker. He's tired too.
They get out of their spin offense and go to their spread.
Still back in.
Flag on the play.
Troy Silv comes back in on that one. On fourth down. Well, you just made 4th and 6.
Into 4th and 11.
Yeah, the 4th and 11.
Bring up 4th and 11.
The first time in this drive where they have taken Warren Young out of the quarterback slot and put Troy Silv, the sophomore, to replace the senior. Warren Young, such a good wide receiver that if you can use one of the young guys at quarterback, it really helps. You've got Troy Silv, you've got Hayden Price. This time he's going to go longer to the end zone. Does he hold it? He does. Touchdown. He's got it. Touchdown. And guess who? Warren Young.
Warren Young double move. Hitch and go. Beats the corner up top. I believe the corner was Dwayne Brown. Kind of froze his feet. Warren Young runs right past him. But let's talk about the throw by Troy Silv. Watch the throw. Watch the double move up top. There's one. There's two. What a ball. Laid out. We've seen some beautiful passes that have gone deep, right? And that's Troy Silv's imitation there for his deep pass right there. Huge touchdown. Walker back in this thing.
Extra point is no good. Missed it off to the left.
Oh, that can hurt, right? You got to make that.
Well, each team's now missed 1 point after attempt. East St. John's came when they tried for 2 and didn't make it. But, hey, man, if you are a Walker Wildcat, you are fired up right now because your team has pulled within 7. It's a 1-score ball game with 4:53 to play in the third. And more importantly, Coach Chad Mahaffey inserting the guy who can play just about any position, Warren Young, in the quarterback slot has made all the difference in the world on that first drive.
Well, he made the difference. I think the offense that he brought in, and he kind of changed the way they were running their offense. They went to that full house backfield running that spin offense, which kind of caught East St. John flat-footed, right? And, you know, they found kind of a match that kind of lit that fire. And there's a little fire going on right now with the Walker Wildcats. So it's going to be interesting to see how they answer defensively. Onside kick.
And did they get it? Who's got it? And it is in bounds, and they got it. There's that trickery we talked about coming from Walker. Onside kick. And wait a minute, now the official has reversed the call. And they reversed it again. They for a moment said East St. John got it after talking about. Now a flag is thrown. A flag is thrown.
Right. I think the ball was touched before it went 10 yards. I think that's what we have. So if you look back at the replay, you'll see somebody in a green pants, their leg touched the ball just prior to the 50-yard line. The ball needs to go 10 yards, right? So here we go. Let's see what we got right there. I don't know if you saw it. It looked like number 26 possibly.
It's 10 yards. He touched it after the 10-yard mark.
I thought he touched it just before it.
Let's watch it again.
It's really close.
Let's watch it again because
here we go. Well, we've got unsportsmanlike. So, okay, well, maybe not. So the flag was for the unsportsmanlike.
Watch it, they're kicking off from the 40. Now watch it.
Right there.
Oh,
no, I don't know if he got it. Well, yeah, well, any way you look at it, it looks to be Walker's ball. They're going to have an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on East St. John at the end of the play, so they tack on another 15, and they're back out in the spin offense.
And it is Young, Warren Young at quarterback, and he is going to give to Jones around the left side. Jones with a hole, and Jones has a first down across the 20.
Straight sweep. Going to give it to Jones coming around from the wingback position. He's got blockers out in front. Good blocking by the guys in white jerseys. He gets the corner, nothing there. Nobody sets the edge from East St. John, and they're going to move the chains.
15-yard gain by Jones.
Look, this spin offense is kind of the match that they've needed to light that fire, and it's working for them.
And the guy making it work is Warren Young. Inserted back at quarterback. There's the spin move. There's the give straight up the middle. And once again, it's Caden Jones spinning to avoid a hit on that football. But a gain by Jones. Down to the 13-yard line. Gain of 7, 2nd and 3.
Watch the kick out by the guard. There's a pull. There's a kick. There's number 62 coming around. Braden Pats coming around, getting up on the linebacker.
And this one's a keeper all the way. And what a cutback in and a step into the end zone. A beautiful run by Warren Young.
Warren Young makes it happen right there,
Warren
huh, Kenny?
Young worked magic right there.
Boy, he makes it happen right. Did you see him open field? He plants that foot and puts one move on the East St. John defender and gets into the end zone. Look at the athleticism right here off the 2 fakes. Watch the move right there.
Wow.
Put the move on Freddie Jones.
Now the momentum has shifted over to Walker, who with an extra point right here can tie this game at 20. Zeno to hole. And Niall Allen.
Now East St. John lined up in the neutral zone, so they're going to move the ball half a distance again. We've seen this already. So it looks like Walker's bringing their offense out. They're going to go for 2.
In. From the 1-yard line, they're going to go for it. They've been reeling off a lot of yardage, and this would give them the lead. It's 20-19, and with that penalty, with the encroachment penalty, look out. Young will line up at quarterback. Got McClendon on the side of him. And he walks in, and the guy walking it in is Ja'Cory Thomas.
Ja'Cory Thomas lines up at the Wildcat right there, and they run power to the right, and he steps right on into the end zone without much defense there from East St. John to be able to stop the power play.
You had your 3 playmakers there, Warren Young, Ja'Cory Thomas, and big C.J. McClendon. Could have gone to any of them on the snap, and it went to, as you said, Ja'Cory Thomas, boom, and it is now 21-20. Walker, with the 2-point conversion, has the lead over East St. John.
Walker finding a way to make it happen here, finding a way to fight their way back into this ball game, and they take that 1-point lead.
Ja'Cory Thomas with the 2-point conversion, and folks, it is now 21-20 Walker. What a opening drive here. It's crazy. Would they try it again?
It works once.
Would they try the onside kick again?
It worked once. Do you come again with it?
Niall Allen executed it perfectly last time. Niall Allen, your kicker. Moves on the football, and he'll just squib kick this one down.
Well, do you, right.
It's a good move. You're keeping it out of the hands of some guys that can do magic with the football.
Well, you keep it out of the hands of your return guy, which is Dwayne Brown, right? Who can go coast to coast. So let's just put it on the ground here and squib it down there, and let's get our defense on the field. Smart play by Chad Mahaffey and his staff. East St. John now has got to gain that momentum back. They've got to start with moving the chains offensively to try to fight to get that momentum back.
Well, I'll tell you what, Walker had to kick off, but when they got that ball, it's been all Walker. And now we are just under the 4-minute mark in the third quarter. So they're going to throw it out to Fisher, and Fisher knocked out of bounds hard at about the 35-yard line. That's a gigantic hit put on by Preston Hill.
Preston Hill comes up, but I don't know if he gave or he received, right? I think he received the more hit from Cortez Fisher there, who brought the wood to him.
Yeah, that's true. You really have to look at it like that. That's a jarring hit, but Yasha Mitchell, there's that hole, and look at the high step. Oh, the high hurdle by Cortez Fisher with the high hurdler over a tackler, and he's got a big gain and a first down to midfield.
Cortez Fisher, high hurdles, a defensive back from Walker right here. Woo! Nice. I wonder if he runs track and if he's the 110 high hurdler.
He will now.
He will now, exactly.
If the track coach is watching, he will now. Lines him up on 1st and 10 from midfield. He is going to go long, and this time there's only a player from a defender from Walker there, and Jaden Bordalis could not haul it in with an over-the-shoulder catch.
A little miscommunication right there between Dakari Joseph and Yashua Mitchell.
Yeah.
Broke the route off. Mitchell airs it out. Bordalis had a chance to come down with the pick. Just right through his arms.
Oh, Bordalis is going to be dreaming about that one for a long time.
He's going to be hearing about it at Thanksgiving dinner.
Yes, he will. Toss to the left side. That's caught by Dakari Joseph. And Joseph brought down after a 3-yard gain.
Playing a little inside-out bracket coverage. We saw this back in the first half. Basically safety to the inside, corner to the outside on Dakari Joseph, right? I love the concept. Nice job by the safety coming down to make the tackle right there. I think that was Carson Rocker coming down to make that tackle.
Which defense can hold in the critical situation? Walker has fought back to take their first lead of this ball game at 21-20 on a successful 2-point conversion. And just great offense and an onside kick, which led to a touchdown and that 2-point conversion. 3rd down, 4. Mitchell tosses over the middle. Oh, good on target. Right there to Kai Joseph. Kai Joseph on target. And Preston Hill was covering.
Look, they went man across the board right there. When you're getting man across the board, 0 coverage, that is a win-win for East St. John. There isn't a guy on this field that can cover Kai Joseph man-to-man.
1st and 10 of the 27.
Back in the man coverage, 0 across again. Look at the movement.
Cortez Fisher behind him. Cortez Fisher faked handoff to him. This is a keeper by Mitchell all the way, and he'll run it out of bounds and lose a yard, stopping the clock with 1:56 to go in the third quarter in what has been a whale of a playoff game.
You know, you're rolling the dice if you're going to try to line up and cover 0 with no one across the top, whether a free safety or a second safety bracketing the wide receiver, especially Dakari Joseph, right? So now you got one-on-one in a matchup with that type of speed. Oh, my goodness. Here comes the blitz.
Here comes the blitz, and they got him. Back at the 40-yard line. That's going to be a loss of right at about 10.
Travion Thomas comes in, 63 tackles on the season. Add another 2, and a tackle for a loss, and a sack. Look at the blitz. Nobody picked it up. He comes through scot-free.
Boy, he just worked his way right through the open slot, and that brings up 3rd down now and 22 from the Walker 40-yard line.
Well, they go cover 0 and they bring the blitz, right? Again, you're rolling the dice on the crap table. You can live and die by the blitz. You can live and die by man coverage with 0.
Sometimes you win those, sometimes you lose. Empty backfield. Here comes the blitz again, and they got him caught up. He got caught up, I think, with some of his own offensive linemen, but they cannot bring him down. And the whistle finally sounds. Look, the blitz was coming, but I think sometime on that he might have stepped up, or the offensive line backed up a little bit and got right in his way.
Well, Kentrell Scott came from his outside linebacker position, came off the edge, and the getting in there was also Dante Flowers from his defensive end position getting in there, and then all of a sudden it turned into, like you said, a rugby scrum right up in there and tight. Now push East St. John in a situation where they've got to punt the ball again.
4th and 23 from the 41. Ilian Green into punt. He does. That's going to take a little. Kind of bounced and stopped right there. Checked up very nicely. Kind of like one of Wade Kaiser's pitching wedges.
Absolutely.
120.
Absolutely. I got to go up and fix my divot. There we go.
And you fix it on turf, which is really impressive.
There we go. I tell you what, East St. John needs to calm down a little bit, right? They're kind of caught off guard. They've got a little high tension going on right there. You can see it in their body languages, right? Mm-hmm. They see one again, like the Holy Cross game. Things slip away from them. You gotta back off a little bit. You got to get back to playing football. You got to get back to reading keys defensively against this spin offense.
Well, it worked the first time, so you keep number 13, Warren Young, back there, and you let him hand it off or run the football because it worked on those last two series offensively. Back-to-back because the onside kick worked, and that time carrying the football was Kedrick Brown coming in from the defensive side, and he'll do that every once in a while. He's got a couple of carries on the year.
East St. John has seen this spin offense now for 3 series, right? They should have a handle on it, right? So what you needed to do was make the adjustments you needed to on the sidelines, get back to playing good defensive football and reading keys.
And here's the give to Ja'Cory Thomas. Thomas with a big hole. Sidesteps one. Now tries to stiff arm another. And they got a couple of that stiff arm looked more like a fist pump. Crowd's going a little while. No flags thrown.
Well,
a runner does have the right to stiff arm. Now, I don't know if a couple of pumps is considered a stiff arm.
One stiff arm, fine. Second stiff arm, when a push and a lockout becomes flagrant, right? So I'm Brandon Brown. I'm saying a few words to the official on my boundary, before things get real chippy. 1, 2, No. That becomes flagrant. There's no place for that in high school football right there. One stiff arm is fine. When you start locking out and pushing and actually using your palm to punch, there should have been some sort of flag on that. I don't blame Brandon Brown for having a few words for that official.
The third quarter, which has just come to an end, was brought to you on Crescent City Sports by Lamarck Motor Company in Kenner. Lamarck's Quick Lane Services. All makes and models, batteries, tires, oil changes, and more. All done quickly while you enjoy some popcorn made by, sometimes, Dennis Lamarck.
Hey,
must be a reason.
Great popcorn. Great popcorn.
Love it, absolutely. Told Dennis.
Best popcorn in Kenner.
I'd like a little chocolate with it next time. All right, we start the fourth quarter here. And right now, the momentum and another big play. My goodness, that's C.J. McClendon.
Again, back to the counter off of the spin offense, right? Guard kick out, tackle seal. McClendon right up through the A-gap. East St. John can't defend it. They're just looking in the backfield. Those linebackers are gone with all the crisscrossing action.
Crisscrossing action, that's one of the things we talked about, that this Walker Wildcat team does so very well on 1st and 10. This is a good spin, and this time Young will keep, and he pushes inside the 30 to about the 29-yard line where Henson Johnson makes the stop.
Hanson Johnson right there wasn't fooled. He comes off of his edge right there and does a nice job getting a wrap up on the running back. Got a Walker D offensive lineman, it looks like, down on the ground.
And let's see if we can. It looks like David Kirby, a senior. He had a broken thumb and was playing with a broken thumb earlier this year. Had it very well protected in tape. Hope he's okay. He is the only, I believe, no, they do. They have, this is a pretty senior-laden offensive line. 3 starters, including Mason Ball at left tackle, who is a 3-year starter is on the offensive line. Let's take this opportunity to look at some of the CrescentCitySports.com scores off the scoreboard, brought to you by the Allstate Sugar Bowl.
Well, let's start with the one of interest right here in reserve. It's the Houghton Airline score. Third quarter, Houghton is up 34-13 on Airline. My goodness gracious. They're both District 1-5A teams that have seen each other before this season. So this is a rematch in the first round of two 1-5A teams up there at Airline. Let's go up to the top of the scoreboard right there. Let's get you a couple scores real fast.
While you do that, David Kirby walking off the right guard, walking off under his own power.
Good. Rummel has taken the lead over John Eyre in the third quarter, 21-16. Scotlandville 28-0 over East Jefferson. Jesuit 38-3 over Huntington up in Shreveport. Brother Martin up 31-20 on Woodlawn. Baton Rouge. Holy Cross down 1 point. St. Paul's has battled back 14-13 in the third quarter.
And here's, if you're watching, old number 13, keeping it, that's Warren Young.
Again, that's Hanson Johnson.
There he goes. Flag goes up in the air now.
Things getting a little chippy out there, right? Hanson Johnson right there, right. Hanson Johnson right there makes the tackle, and either things were said, things were pushed, and oh my goodness, dead ball foul. Somebody's going to get 15 on him. Let's see what happens. There's Hanson coming off the edge right there. Nice play, nice tackle.
Boom.
Didn't see the end of it. Looks like it's against East St. John. You're going to tack 15 on to the end of the play. It's going to be automatic first down.
Well, this second half has belonged to the Walker Wildcats, and here they go, 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Give off to C.J. McClendon. McClendon with a big hole on the right side. McClendon inside the 10-yard line.
Picks his way through right there.
Flag down, though. Go ahead.
McClendon does a nice job picking his way through right there. Looks like me on a Saturday afternoon getting to the refrigerator, right? Got to go around the counter, got to go around the chair, got to go around the dog. You got an illegal procedure, going to bring it back, right? So he finds his way in there, but it's for naught. It's going to come back on the flag. Look at him pick around right there. Boom, boom. Nice little cut. Good open field tackle right there by one of the East St. John defensive backs. I think that was Dwayne Brown.
Well, as you said, it's getting a little chippy for both teams out there, and both teams have hurt themselves with penalties. Warren Young operating the offense. He'll turn around, keep. He's taking his time. He's picking. He's looking, trying to go outside, and he's brought down to the 25-yard line. Short gain. Dwayne Brown.
Well, I tell you what, I'm impressed with Dwayne Brown.
Yeah,
he's a good
too.
football player, right? He does a nice job on special teams. He does a nice job in coverage. He does a nice job tackling in the open field. Look at him come take off the block right there and come up and make a nice play on Warren Young. He's a good football player. We're talking about Dwayne Brown. He's a junior, 5'10", 180 pounds.
Second down. 20, because they had that penalty. They're trying to get that penalty yardage back. And they're keeping it on the ground.
So Walker's got a 1 point lead. What are you going to do? You're going to pound that ground, right?
That's it.
You want to run that clock. You do not want to put the ball back into the East St. John offense and Joshua Mitchell and those guys, right? So you're going to try to take as much time off the clock as you possibly can.
Trouble is that penalty sets you back. So instead of being third and about 5, you've got third down and 17, even though you're on the opposition 22-yard line if you're looking at it from a Walker standpoint. Play, blitz is coming, they got him. Oh, he dropped the ball, and it's a fumble.
I think that was a backwards pass. He was trying to get it out there to the receiver that was running over there. It looked like that was number 26.
I thought it was. If it was a backwards pass, that's a fumble. That's out there for grabs.
That's Adon Brunfield, wide receiver. Ball goes backwards. Yeah, he's Johnny on the spot. Smart play right there. Football awareness by Brunfield getting out there, falling on that lateral. That could have been disastrous for Walker.
Well, now it's fourth on the roadmap. First down is back at the 5-yard line.
I like that one. Can I use that?
Absolutely.
There we go. I like that.
I've used yours a lot.
There you go.
By the time I come up with one I can give you, okay.
Yeah, I've got to come up with a few of these every now and then, right?
First down at the 5. They're at the 38. And on fourth down, they're not going to even punt it. Here we go. A long throw into the end zone. And this time Young's looking for a flag, but it's not going to get it. He had triple coverage down there, and it's broken up well. And East St. John will take over on downs with pretty good field position here.
Well, they were treating that like a punt, right? But that was very heads up by the East St. John defense. Instead of going up and getting that pick, what do? Knock it down? Because it's going to be a difference in field position, right?
Absolutely.
Very good coached secondary right there by East St. John. Just knocked that thing down. Great job on the high point right there. That looked like, oh my goodness, was that number 14, Hanson Johnson, that might have knocked that thing down? Might have been number 13, David Porter, coming across to make that play.
Well,
is the word we're getting.
It gives East St. John the ball at their own 38-yard line. They mess up their snap here and just throw it away and out of bounds, and that was a heads-up play. You think there's just a little bit of nerves going on up down there? Just a little bit?
Just a little bit, right? It hits him right in the hands. I don't think he was ready for the snap, right?
Maybe a little off on the count.
Thank goodness there's a receiver out there, or there'd have been a flag and you would have had grounding. I think they're even discussing it right now. Let's see if there you go. They called grounding.
Yeah, because there's no receiver, right?
Yeah, well, let's take a look at it. You know, there's none of this inside the pocket, outside the pocket stuff in high school, correct? All right, so they're looking to see if there was an eligible receiver in the area. They're going to back it up 5 yards.
And loss of down.
No.
No loss of down in high school, right?
No loss of down.
All right.
Again, Federation rules a little different than NCAA rules, right? So yes, that must have been a loss of down in Federation. Yep. Brings up second down.
Yeah, it is second down.
That's complete.
Throws a complete pass over on the far side. That's Takai Joseph on the reception. Still going to be third down and a long way to go.
Long way to go right here.
So the ball on the 27-yard line. First down is at the 48-yard line of East St. John, right before midfield. They're at their own 28.
Walker playing zero coverage all across the field. Look for the blitz.
Here it comes. And picked it up, throw. There's a first down. And more. This one might go all the way. Knocked out of bounds before he could reach the goal.
Beat man coverage to the inside, right? Watch him just run away from the man coverage right here on the post route, square in, dig route, whatever you want to call it right there. Wow, I'll tell you.
Gray. Wow.
What a route. Just ran right away from him. Number 82, Coyle Gray, runs away from the man coverage. Ball's delivered on time. East St. John is knocking at the door.
Let's see if they can push it in. Not on first down. My goodness.
Big play right there. Connor Watts from his linebacker position sneaks through and makes a huge play.
I believe
Submarine, Connor Watts right there. Bang. Also number 17, Patrick McKenzie.
I believe that was either a 69 or 70-yard play by Coyle Gray. Second down.
Second and 4.
They're at the 4. And it's going to be Cortez. Gets hit, gets pushed out of bounds. And that's Cortez Fisher.
Nice defense. Connor Watts comes up, sets the edge right. Forces Cortez Fisher to bounce it. Where does he bounce it? He bounces it right into the arms of the safety stepping up, Carson Rocker. 1 bounce, bang. 2 bounce, bang. 3 bounce. Nice defense by Walker.
Can almost assure you this is going to be 4-down territory because Coach Brandon Brown not real happy with his kicking team. He's got a good kicking team, and it'll work sometimes, but sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. It's not steady, And in a big game like this in the fourth quarter, this close, this may be 4-down territory. Let's see what happens on third down.
Running out of time.
They're running out of time. Did they have to call a timeout? Did they get it in time?
Yes, they did.
Timeout called. So East St. John uses their first timeout, leaving each team, both Walker and East St. John, with 2 timeouts remaining for the final 7:02 of this football game. Walker leading 21-20. East St. John knocking on the door.
Gives us time to check a few scores here from the Crescent City Sports scoreboard. Still in the third quarter, Archbishop Rummel 21-16 over John Ehret. Checking in on that Holy Cross score, Ken. I know you're want to know what that is. St. Paul's 14-13, third quarter. Let's go over to the Houghton Airline score. Still 34-13 Houghton in the third quarter.
By the way, while you're doing that, tonight's coverage on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by the Oxford Sports Medicine Institute, treating more than 30,000 athletes a year with innovative treatments for sports injuries. Visit ochsner.org/sportsmed to learn more. And the scores Wade just told you about and brought you up to date on are brought to you by the All-State Sugar Bowl. This time under center. Fake the flip, throws into the end zone, has a man broken up. Big, gigantic breakup right there by Bordalis.
Bordalis does a nice job. Look, he's beat, right? He's beat by the tight end. Off the boot right here. There's the boot. Right here. The boot right
boom
to his right-hand side. Nice job right there by Bordalis, getting a hand up and raking that thing away at the last second.
And he went limping off. He went hopping off, Bordalis did. When I say limping, he was hopping like on one leg. Let's see, they are going to line up. They are going to line up as if to.
Looks like they're going to kick the 3.
Wow. It's put down at the 12. Kicked up. And good. My goodness, little Alexander Lagos comes in and kicks a 22-yard field goal.
Well, Alexander Lagos is going to remember that for a long time. He's a sophomore, 5'8", 150.
Yeah, put it down at the 12, 22-yard field goal.
I'm sure Brandon Brown went and found him on the soccer team, right? Get on out here, son, and come kick some field goals,
Jason Coelho and Alexander Lagos on the soccer team. That's where both of his kickers came from.
Well, he gets in there and he boots that thing through. That's going to be the field goal to be remembered if this score stands for East St. John. Big. What do you want to bet Walker's going to come back out in that spin offense again? It's been working all second half.
Well, right now it's East St. John back in the lead, 23-21 with 6 minutes and 54 seconds to see who would get the host. And I'm guessing that Houghton is going to hold on since they are way ahead of Airline. The number 7 seed about to fall there. So Houghton, a higher seed than both of these teams, would have to travel to the winner of this game, to either Walker, Louisiana, or right here to Reserve. Who's going to hold on to the final 6:54? What a field goal by little tiny Alexander Lagos. And this one will go out of bounds. So let's see. Alexander Lagos. They've got him listed at 5'8", 150 pounds, a sophomore. And I'm telling you, he looked like he just came off. Oh, he's so small. That's 5'8" with the cleats on his toes.
And I'm sure his locker
helmet.
His locker is right between 2 big offensive linemen, right, in the locker room.
Let me tell you, he may be 5'8", but he's feeling pretty tall right now.
There you go. He needs to feel that was a great kick under great pressure.
Pretty tall right now. It's given East St. John the lead, and I credit Brandon Brown, who worries about the kicking game sometimes. He says it's usually a week-by-week, game-by-game decision on how they're doing in practice. And this time a spin around. There's a flag thrown, and still some good movement as Walker with the ball is running Kedrick Brown, who comes in from the defensive side sometimes to run the football.
I think that's going to come back with a hold.
That wipes out pretty good run right there by Kedrick Brown.
There's the hold right there.
Now, 13-yard gain just got wiped out by the hold.
Right out there on the edge, out right in front of the white hat. He wasn't going to miss that.
So Kedrick Brown, number 2 for Walker, is a defensive back, but they will use him and have used him from time to time to do some fancy stuff with the football because he's got good speed. So does this guy right here, Corey Thomas. He's hit hard and dropped, not much.
Ja'Cory Thomas coming in off that counter right there. He gets hit really hard. East St. John looks like they might have a fit on this spin offense. Again, this will be about the fifth series they've seen it tonight. They should have a handle on it by now.
The last drive, a penalty took Walker out of range, and they ended up having to punt. A penalty, again, has put them way behind the chains, and they've got to make up for it on second down at 21 from the 22. Got a long way to go. They're still keeping the ball on the ground, and East St. John is defending it well. That time, once again, it's Kedrick Brown.
Wow, what a great tackle right there. It looked like number 28 coming up making a play for East St. John. That was Jorel Martin, 5'9", 160, over there playing defense, normally a running back.
Third down. Walker needs a miracle because there's a long way to go. They're at their own 23. I'll call it the 24 officially. 3rd and 22 from the 24. And they put Young back in at quarterback. He evades one tackler, but then the posse catches up with him and brings him down. Never got back to the original line of scrimmage. And Walker is going to have to punt this football away with 5:09, 5:08, 5:07, 5:06, and the clock ticking.
Great series right there by East St. John's defense. Freddie Jones put a seal on it right there. 49 tackles, 1 sack. Makes the tackle right there to be able to kind of shut down that spin offense of Walker. Got a handle on it right there. Did some coaching on the boundary. Get your eyes up and follow those offensive linemen. Those guys are going to take it to the ball in the spin offense.
Nakai Joseph is deep. Young's punt. It's short. Calling for the fair catch. Ooh, and he dives and makes it in Walker territory at the 47-yard line, or let's see if they mark it at the 48. So my goodness, it was a very short punt, and East St. John with a 2-point lead, 23-21 and 4:11 to go, has a chance to ice this one. But it's penalties both times, Wade, for Walker.
Right.
15-yard penalty both times. It just took them so far behind the chains that they couldn't recover.
Well, when that happens, it kind of takes all the wind out of your sails, right? So you found something you can hang your hat on, you're moving the football, and then that yellow flag comes out because of a hold, block in the back, illegal procedure, you name it. They had it in the last couple of series, right? East St. John has a chance now to put into that 4-minute offense, right, and to possibly ice this thing and move on to another round of the Division I playoffs.
Well, can the Walker defense come up with a big play, or can the East St. John offense ice it right here with a 2-point lead, 23-21 and 4:25 to go in the game?
First and 10 ESB.
If East St. John holds on, this would be big for Brandon Brown and company to be able to host Houghton next week. Again, we're thinking Houghton's going to hold on unless Airline makes some type of a fabulous comeback.
Didn't get it off. Didn't get it off.
Yep, didn't get it off in time. And we say that in Brandon Brown in his 5th year here at East St. John. He's lost in the first round. last year because that was the after Ida year. No, 3 and 4. Didn't make the playoffs last year. 18, they lost in the first round. His first year here, 7 and 5. Went to the second round his second year, 7 and 2 to the quarterfinals in 20. 21 was Ida, and here he is in 22. At that time, the middle got clogged up, and just a good effort and a good run to fight for some extra yardage. They unstacked the pile.
Looked like Travion Thomas at the bottom of that pile coming up from his linebacker position to make that play. Little update from Airline, fourth quarter, Houghton 36, Airline 19. A lot of entrance, again, to everybody right here in reserve.
Cortez Fisher on the last carry. Will East St. John just keep it on the ground and keep that clock moving? Now under 3:45. Nope, they won't. They're going to go to the air and a little too high and incomplete. Flag on the play.
Got another flag out there towards the intended receiver. Looks like we've got a push off offensively. Oh my goodness, probably from the wide receiver, the intended wide receiver as he was running his route. They're going to call a push off. Offensive interference. It's going to be 10 yards from the previous spot. Walker still staying with the blitz, covering in man all across the board. Zero coverage.
There it is. Well, I guessed wrong. I thought East St. John might keep it on the ground and keep that clock running, but there was a little bit of yardage they wanted to make up. And I think they looked at it as a safe pass over on the sideline because you throw it up high, your guy jumps up and gets it, or it goes out of bounds incomplete. But the push-off.
Well, you know, you got to do what brung you, right?
Yep.
So
you're right.
What has brung them? Getting the hands into your guys,
get
right?
The ball into the hands of the playmakers.
Get into their hands, and how you going to get it out there? You're going to throw it out there to them. So, you know, go with who brung you. Do who brung you, right? So that's what's happened.
Back to their own 35. It's 2nd and 27. And this play's going nowhere. So now Walker, the penalty gets in there. Walker's going to have to
start using their timeouts.
Especially way back here, because that's where you want to try to force the punt. They're not going to use it here, though. Yeah, maybe they did. Hold on. Let's see. Did they? Clock is stopped. And I think they're spotting the ball, and timeout called by Walker. So that is their second, leaving them with one for the final 3:23. But that penalty backed them up so far that good use of a timeout.
Well, they make a play here. Here's what they're thinking, right? They call that timeout. They make a play here on third down. It's going to force a punt by East St. John. They're going to get the ball back in pretty decent field position and make one last drive attempt to take the lead, right? So it was a good timeout. They needed to take that timeout right there. There's no doubt about it. Hold that last timeout unless they get into some trouble here defensively. Hold it for when they get the ball back on offense.
Interesting. Very interesting. And just want to remind everybody that next week on Crescent City Sports, we'll have the second week matchup as the road to the Dome continues. Visit CrescentCitySports.com for updates. That's more playoff football next week on Crescent City Sports. Lenny Van Gilder will be back with you. You know, this team was backed up and they pulled off a 70-yard pass play, which resulted in a field goal last time with the ball. This time a wide run to the right. And that's Cortez Fisher.
Cortez Fisher, smart, goes down inbounds, keep that clock running, right? And looks like Walker went ahead and used their last timeout. There we go. So they use their last timeout. It's going to force a punting situation, and Walker will get their last shot at taking a lead.
And again, East St. John was in this trailing 21-20 when they pulled off that gigantic run by Cortez Fisher. Pass play. Cortez Fisher took it, almost went all the way, right at about 70 yards. Good goal line stand by the Walker defense, held them to a field goal, but That field goal was enough to give East St. John a 23-21 lead. And now with 3:24 to go, it'll be interesting to see if East St. John goes back to Cortez Fisher on that same play. That worked for the big yardage last time out. That got him right down to the goal. No, they won't. I thought they might even try it out of there, but they punt. And a little bit of fancy running. You're seeing some Billy Cannon here breaking through tacklers that looked like they had him. And Kedrick Brown with a good return into East St. John territory. And the Walker Wildcats are alive in St. John Wildcat territory.
So the first thing you look for is everything clean, right?
Well, that's what I was starting to look at.
And there's nothing, there's nothing on the ground, right?
They're just looking at where they're going to spot it. And they're going to spot it at the East St. John 45-yard line.
As Kedrick Brown, everything's clean. Nice return. Walker is in business. Remember, no timeouts.
First and 10, Walker.
And here's a give. Look out. He's got speed. Ja'Cory Thomas with a big, gigantic run.
Ja'Cory Thomas breaks it right up through the middle of the East St. John defense. Nobody was there. All of a sudden, boom, he's in the secondary running around. Good look at it again on the sweep. Great blocking out there by the white jerseys. Look at that. All of a sudden, he's in the secondary.
Big gain. And this time, a keeper by Silv, who's in at quarterback for this series. And Silv showing what he can do.
East St. John's on their heels right here.
Yep, they got him. They're moving it. First one was a big 17-yard gain. Now they reel off a bunch more, move the chains. It's first down. Clock ticking. Silv with the give, and this time they catch Ja'Cory Thomas. No, somehow he escapes. My goodness, how does he do it? It looked like Ja'Cory Thomas was going to be caught in the backfield, and somehow he breaks through.
Well, missed tackle in the backfield. Runs right through the arms of the tackler. Let's see if we can get that number. Oh, my goodness, block right there was missed. Can't get the number of the East St. John defensive lineman. That it was either Caven Frobb or Elijah Frank in the backfield. Breaks through and had a chance to throw a loss to the Walker Wildcats and just didn't come away with the tackle.
It should have been a loss. Turned into a 13-yard gain.
Now here, Walker wants to think about running some clock right here. Don't want to score too fast, right?
I wouldn't think. And Silv will just go right up the middle.
You know, this is a fine line, Kenny. You want to make sure that you don't score too fast because you don't want to leave much time on the clock for this explosive East St. John offense, right? But then you want to make sure you get into that end zone because, hey, you know, you don't want to run out of time. You don't have any more timeouts. You can't stop the clock, and you got to have 6.
Niall Allen is your kicker. Sam Potts was the kicker at the beginning of the year. He was injured. Niall Allen has done a fine job. Second down.
Yeah, I mean, you need the field goal, but you'd love to have that 6, right?
Hey, you want the 6. You want it quick. And they put Warren back in. It's the handoff to C.J. McClendon. Touchdown! C.J. McClendon with 1 minute and 17 seconds to play gives Walker the lead, and this one 27-23. Extra point coming up.
Counter off the spin. Missed 3 tackles. 3 tackles right there. East St. John had a chance to bring him down. Doesn't do it, and he's into the end zone. Ball breaks the plane. Fumbles the ball, then falls on in the back of the end zone. Walker needed 6. Wanted 6. Got the 6, right? They could have come away with 3 points. That 6 really applies the pressure now to East St. John.
Niall Allen in to attempt the point after. It's a 4-point lead right now. 27-23 with 1:17 to go. And it's kicked up and good. So the score with 1 minute and 17 seconds to play in this first round playoff game is the Walker Wildcats 28 and the East St. John Wildcats 23.
Look, a lot of time. East St. John
You're
can
not
score in a snap of your fingers, right? So they've got 2 timeouts, minute 17, an electrifying kick returner back there in Mr. Brown, right? So, look, anything can happen for East St. John right here.
East St. John with a very, very explosive team, and I think you squib this kick if you're Walker.
Well, no doubt about it.
And you play your talented play. You play everybody up. They're not going to kick it deep, and you've got the talent if you're East St. John to get big yards and big chunks, as proven earlier.
So what do you do with your return guys? You move them up. You want to get that ball into
their hands.
Number 2's hands. Let that ball pass on the squib right on back to number 2. He's smart about everything.
It's a little pooch kick instead. And it's a big scramble for it, but East St. John has it. That's a live onside kick if nobody gets it. If you don't call fair catch on that squib.
Well, it's a little pooch kick, the sky kick. You got to catch that.
Yeah.
Got to get that hand up. Fair catch. You got to catch that football.
Well, 1 minute and 14 seconds for East St. John to work with offensively. 1 minute and 14 seconds for the Walker defense to hold. Let's see who wins the battle. 28-23. Touchdown is needed.
All right. If you're Walker, you better know where number 6 is. Dekai Joseph, right?
And look who's standing right next to... Well, here's the toss. They're going for it. Oh, he's got it. He's got a big one. He's at 40, 30. A try for a cutback in, and they hit him, pushing him all the way down to the 19-yard line. One big play with 101. He's out of bounds, and a flag on the play to follow.
Well, they're going to tack on some more to it, but
wow.
When we get a look at the replay again, they had the right coverage called. They had him bracketed inside and out, right? The safety from Walker just misses the ball. Watch. Here comes the safety. Misses the ball.
He thought he had it.
Right. Dekai Joseph takes it right out of his hands. My goodness, how electrifying is Dekai Joseph, right? What a receiver.
And the penalty moves the ball inside the 10-yard line to the 9-yard line with 1:01 to play. Oh, my goodness.
All right, so here we go, 1:01. You don't want to score. You don't want to score too fast, right? So you want to take your time here, get that ball in the end zone, leave nothing left on the clock. And that's what they're doing, letting that clock kind of work its way down. Just make sure you don't get a delay game penalty.
Yasha Mitchell with Cortez Fisher right by him. He's going to throw the slant in. Touchdown. That's it. And guess who? Dekai Joseph.
Well, they had him in man coverage. Runs a slant route. Wide open. Too much cushion. Can't have that much cushion there. Here's the slant right there. Bang. Touchdown. Way too much cushion by the defender, which was number 13, Warren Young Jr. over there on defense.
Wow. The Dekai Joseph show right there, 2 plays.
Well, I think I said, who do you keep your eyes on?
Dekai Joseph.
There you go.
Know where number 6 is. They knew where number 6 was. Wow.
Well, they're going to have to go for 2 here, right?
Well, you got
to go for
a
2.
34. Yeah, you got it. Yeah. You got a 29-28 lead. You go for 2, 32-28. That way a field goal sends it into overtime.
Right, exactly. You don't want the field goal to beat you.
Wow. How impressive is Dekai Joseph? And it was Dekai Joseph on that long 70-yard play. I want to say right at 70.
Smart move going for 2 here.
That's what they've got to do.
Don't want the field goal to beat you. You got to go up by 4.
The snap, the slant in again, incomplete. Threw it a little bit behind him that time.
There we go. All right, so just behind him, kind of off target.
29-28.
47 seconds left. We've had a lot of explosion this second half. Walker's not out of this thing, even though they don't have any more timeouts.
They've got a field goal kicker with decent range. They would have to get him inside, I think, the 25-yard line, inside the 20-yard line maybe. And they've got 47 seconds to do it. But one thing that they have going in their favor, they have been almost unstoppable in the second half. The only thing that has really stopped Walker in the second half is Walker, with the 2 penalties that took them way behind the chains. And with East St. John on their drive that didn't end up in a score, they took themselves and put themselves in a hole with a long 15-yard penalty. Here comes the return. And it's Ja'Cory Thomas. That'll stop the clock with 43.3 seconds. Walker does not have any timeouts remaining.
Update from Airline. Houghton 36, Airline 26, deep in the fourth quarter.
Ooh, Airline making a little charge, trying to come back. But they had dug a deep hole to climb out of. So here we go. Who comes in at quarterback? Is it Warren Young? Is it Silv? Is it Thomas and the Wildcat? It is going to be Troy Silv. Little personnel change. Here's the pass, and a little flea flicker, getting that ball to Thomas, and Thomas runs out of bounds to stop the clock inside the 35-yard line of East St. John. How about that?
Hook and lateral.
Shades of old.
Hook and lateral. Hook, about a square in at about 14 yards. Toss it in a lateral right here to number 6. Ja'Cory Thomas coming right through. Nicely executed.
Chad Mahaffey's team known for all kind of crazy trick plays, and they'll go right side again, this time to Warren Young himself, and he'll step out of bounds using the sidelines very well.
A lot of cushion over there on him.
Yep.
Can't give him all that room. Catch the ball, step out of bounds, and inch your way down. You got to tighten down on that thing a little bit. What I would do is play a little bracket on him, something across the top, something underneath. You know they're going to go to Warren Young.
31.5 seconds to play here. C.J. McClendon right next to Troy Silv. Warren Young is up at the top of your screen.
There's your bracket coverage.
He's looking. It breaks in. He's going to have to run up the middle. And he gets inside the 15. They have no timeouts to stop the clock. Clock is running, so watch it close. They've got to wait a way to clock it. And now they clock it with 13.5 seconds.
All right, that gives them 2 shots at least to the end zone right here.
2 if it's quick, 3 if it takes time to unfold, 2. Think of this.
What you can't take is a sack.
That's right.
What you can't take is some sort of negative yardage play. Everything's got to be forward. Everything's got to be at least to where you can either catch it just outside the end zone and step in, or into the end zone.
Chad Mahaffey in his 4th season at Walker. This program has only won 2 playoff games in its history. He wants to do more than that. He wants to take them to a state championship game. Look at this spread. They're spread out all over. And it's a quarterback keeper, and he may not have time. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. I don't know if he can get it out in time to clock it. First down, and
first down, they stop to move the chains.
Stop the clock to move the chains. They got to get this thing clocked. Field goal team's on real quick. Niall Allen ready for the ball to be snapped.
They didn't get the first down. Why did they stop the clock?
Well, at first, it looked like he don't know. Good question.
Why did he stop the clock?
I don't know, because I think they thought that he had made the first down. Then on second thought, it got spotted. He did not make the first down. It's fourth down.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Niall Allen's getting a chance. They're going to put this down at the 17-yard line. This will be a 27-yard field goal from the left hash mark. It might be a 28, depending on where he puts it down. 0.7 of a second is all they've got left.
Okay, East St. John calls timeout smart. Okay, so
Yeah,
here's the deal. All right, the ball was so close to the line to make, right? Officials conferred on whether or not it was a first down.
That's what happened.
All right, so they stop the clock. They allow Walker to get its field goal team onto the field to get set up, right? They don't stop the clock right there. It's questionable whether Walker would have gotten set to kick that field goal.
Now they went from 0.7 of a second to 7 seconds?
No,
that can't be right.
That can't be right.
Folks, we're just not sure here. All right, so they have 7 seconds on the clock.
So they've reset it to 7 seconds. I don't get that.
And Niall Allen will try from the 18-yard line. A 27-yard field goal. It's kicked up. It is hit the goal, hit the upright, and came off. No good. Hit the upright and came off. Came back. No good. 1.6 seconds to go, and now people are throwing things on the field, and that is uncalled for. Fans are throwing things on the field.
Well, you can see the doink right there. The ball hits the left upright, right? You got to feel bad for that young man, but you got to also question what went on with the clock sequence after the just on the third down play with the officials on deciding to figure whether or not it was a first down, stops the clock, lets Walker get their field goal team onto the field, correct?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden they changed the clock. It was under 1 second left to play, and they moved the clock back to 7 seconds.
Yeah, question whether I read it right the first time. I saw 7/10. It went from 1.6 to 7/10 to 7 seconds, and now we've got 1.6. Which is going to be a victory formation.
Well, East St. John kneels on it right here, but you know there's a lot of official questioning going on in that last sequence of plays right there. You got to feel for the young man from Walker doinking off the left upright, and East St. John is going to walk out here with a victory. That's the ball game.
29-28 over Walker. East St. John advances to next week with a 29-28 victory over Walker. And will they play, or will they be here at home against Houghton, or will they travel to Airline?
Well, it looks like right now it's going to be Houghton. That's where it is deep in the fourth quarter, 36-26, Houghton over Airline at this point.
So Houghton is coming right here to East St. John, and you and Lenny Van Gilder might be right back here next week.
Well, we don't know that because we just we don't know what the time is up at Airline, right? So it's a 36-24 game. Houghton is up. But what a football game we've had here tonight.
What a football. And look, without question, player of the game, Dekai Joseph. He did everything. And if we had to pick a player of the game for Walker, who would you pick for Walker? Dekai Joseph, definitely.
I'd have to pick number 13. I think that guy, Warren Young, kind of sparked them back with the spin offense in the second quarter.
He brought him back.
The third quarter in the second half, and got those guys right back in the football game.
Warren Young, our player of the game for Walker, he brought this team back, this Walker Wildcat team back. They played brilliantly. A field goal that goes through, and they're hosting somebody, probably Houghton next week. The field goal hits the left upright and doinks off. And because of it, East St. John gets the win 29-28 and advances to the next round. It's over for Houghton. They will finish the season 6-5. But hey, Chad Mahaffey and his Walker Wildcats have a lot to be proud of, because the way they came back in the second half, the way they switched things up, those trick plays, those things that East St. John was so worried about worked very well, just not enough in the end to overcome that 29-28 final score.
Great football game. East St. John moves on into the brackets. Walker, like you said, has nothing to hang their head about. They came out in the second half with a whole different attitude as far as how they're going to run their offense. Got right back into this thing, got it down to a field goal kick. Couple of questionable issues with the clock at the end with the officials. They're going to be arguing about that for a while. But East St. John moving on to take on, it looks right now, Houghton. It was a great football game tonight. Two good football teams here in reserve.
And because if Houghton holds on to beat Airline, that would be knocking off a number 7 seed. Houghton would be coming here to play East St. John if they hold on for the victory. While I go through this one final thing, just keep an eye on that to see if it pops up as a final, if you don't mind, Wade Kaiser. And I do want to just say this. Chad Mahaffey, he's really working hard to build Walker into a program that's going to win some playoff games and win some state championships. This school has never won a state championship in its history, but they're working under Mahaffey to get that done. East St. John, Brandon Brown once won really, really bad. This is his 5th year here at East St. John. And in that time, of course, last year at Hurricane Ida, he was 3-4. But in 2018, his first year, they lost in the first round after going 5-6. In 2019, 7-5, they got to the second round. It ended there. In 2020, 7-2, they advanced to the quarterfinals. Brandon Brown feels like after Ida, this team held together, stayed together. They've got the makings of a team that can go all the way in the non-select bracket, and it's going to be an exciting ride to see what happens with them, especially if Houghton's got to come here next week, and they get to host another playoff game. Wade,
final Houghton 36, Airline 26. So there you go.
Houghton's coming here next week. That's it. Houghton knocked off number 7 Airline. Wow, that's huge, and that is huge, knocking off the 7th seed Airline that rallied back but couldn't overcome Houghton. So Houghton coming here next week. They just announced it over the public address system to play the East St. John Wildcats. So that's about as exciting as it can get. Wade, your final comments on this one.
Great football game here tonight. It's playoff season here in the LHSAA football here in the state of Louisiana. No better time of the year.
I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. There is more high school playoff football next week on Crescent City Sports. Visit CrescentCitySports.com next week for more information. Lenny Van Gilder will be back in this chair. I enjoyed sitting in for him tonight while he could not be here this week. And for our entire crew, Mark Paul on camera, Matt Merritt, our producer, for Wade Kaiser, who always does such a great job on color, I'm Ken Berthelot. Thanks for being with us. The final score from Reserve, Louisiana tonight is East St. John 29, the Walker Wildcats 28. Good night from Reserve, everybody.